Magician David Copperfield has announced plans to open his own theme restaurant. The theme, I don't deserve my girlfriend. In one of the most amazing stories to come out of New York's blizzard of '96, supermodel Claudia Schiffer trudged over a mile through waist-high snow this week in order to make it to a photo session. Even more amazing, she sleeps with this guy. This week, supermodel Claudia Schiffer broke up with magician David Copperfield. Later, a devastated Copperfield wandered out onto the street and was hit by a bus. This, according to the current issue of Things I Wish Really Happened. In other entertainment news, a religious group in Chile is trying to ban a new Claudia Schiffer film which features explicit lesbian sex scenes. According to the group, sex between two women is an abomination before God, almost as blasphemous as sex between a woman and David Copperfield. I don't know which is worse, which is more of an abomination. Julia Roberts told reporters this week that her marriage to Lyle Lovett has been over for some time. The key moment, she said, came when she realized that she was Julia Roberts and that she was married to Lyle Lovett. Christy Brinkley told reporters this week that her marriage to Billy Joel was over long before their divorce. The key moment, she said, came when she realized that she was Christy Brinkley and that she was married to Billy Joel. In a recent interview, Christy Brinkley suggested that football players should have special gloves connected to lights on their helmets. That way, when they catch the ball, you'll know who has possession. Read these and other interesting ideas in Christy's new book, I'm an Idiot. In Niagara Falls, Arthur Curley has been charged with trying to make his girlfriend swallow a small brass bear, then urinating on her and setting fire to the oxygen tube that she uses to treat her emphysema. Read all about this kind of relationship in the new book, Men Who Make Their Girlfriends Swallow Brass Bears, Urinate on Them, and Set Fire to Their Oxygen Tubes, and the Women Who Love Them. And in a recent interview, tenor Luciano Pavarotti says that he is so in love with his new girlfriend that he likes to run nude on the beach with her. Read all about this in this month's issue of Things That Make Me Vomit. That picture makes me vomit as well. Finally, in entertainment news, there are rumors that actor Don Johnson is dating 71-year-old San Francisco socialite Denise Hale. An observer who spotted the couple necking in a restaurant will have trouble getting an erection for the rest of his life. Well, newlyweds Tommy Lee and Pamela Anderson had their first argument this week. He wants kids, while she wants fake kids. Only weeks away from parenthood, Pamela Lee Anderson and her husband, rocker Tommy Lee, are considering names for their new baby. If it's a girl, they'll name it after the mother and call it Pamela. And if it's a boy, they'll name it after the father and call it Lucky Bastard.
I was reading Pamela Anderson is married. That's in the news.
That's right. That's technically in the news. Yeah, to rocker Tommy Lee.
And she's pregnant.
Yeah.
She's going to have a baby, and they say if the baby's a girl, they're going to name it after the mother, so they call it Pamela, right? But if the baby's a boy, then they're going to name it after the father. They're going to call it Lucky Bastard.
She told it with such joy.
I know.
That's told with such joy and commitment. That alone will get you an Emmy.
Straight to the heart. I went a long time acting like I wasn't broken apart by you. Mrs. Johnson. Oh my God, I think he broke my nose!
Oh, Tommy, you know this is a movie, right?
Oh, a movie! Yes! I forgot! Oh, I don't know what happened. I'm sorry there. Hey, amigo, no hard feelings, huh, buddy? Oh, man, I'm sorry, baby. You know, I just love you so much. You know, it just gets me crazy, you know?
Hey! Hey! Get your freaking hands off my wife!
Me and your wife, we were just acting, right? Tell him, honey.
Honey?
No, no!
Come on. You're begging for a beating after saying that MGK beat Eminem in this diss track fucking battle. You're begging for people to call you a retard all week long because that's what they're going to call you. That's really bad.
Lewis, you can't say retard in this day and age. Even Norm MacDonald knows that. Norm MacDonald went to Down syndrome instead of retard.
I know. Okay,
on the Howard Stern show. You know, you can't say that. Come on, Jesus Christ.
My
son's retarded, please.
Not retarded. You can't say that.
Of course he's not retarded. I know, I'm joking.
Isn't it crazy? Even something like retard.
Poor little guy.
Look,
I'm trying to catch butterflies.
I'm fighting back. I'm keeping at least retard. You can't take that one from me.
It was a good one. Yeah, right, you can't say that. All right, questions, please.
Questions. All right, here we go. Let's see. If you guys want us to answer your questions, BYM@gasdigitalnetwork.com. They have to know how to send in the questions. How are they not going to? They're not going to know. BYM@gasdigitalnetwork.com. Send your questions there. All right. Let's see. Okay. Well, this guy actually asked about Norm MacDonald. Can I give my take about this guy? You have a different thing. I'm a comedian.
Hold on. There's a lot of people in England that probably don't know who Norm MacDonald is and don't know what's going on. So, first of all, give a quick breakdown for everybody listening. When I say quick, abbreviated breakdown. Go.
30 seconds or less. Got a timer on. Okay. So Norm MacDonald's a comedian from fucking old school SNL days. Been a comedian for like 40 years probably. Considered somewhat of a living legend, right? He recently did an interview for some magazine. I think it was the New Yorker or something. And he was asked about the Louis C.K. and Roseanne situation, both independently. And he went on to, because he's friends with them, basically defend them more or less. And one of the things he had stated was like, look, not many people understand what it's like to lose, tens of millions of dollars in a day, to lose everything for, a mistake. And then I guess they went on and said, the interview said, well, what about the victims? And he was like, well, the victims didn't go through that, which he got a lot of flack for. They canceled his Tonight Show appearance. He was supposed to do Jimmy Fallon, and then they canceled his appearance. And he's fine. He's got a Netflix show still. He's still doing all the touring of all the circuits. But it was, it just depends on how you feel about this whole thing. I mean, should people be able to have an open conversation about how they feel about the Me Too movement and what's going on in Hollywood and what's going on in society? And if you're not just speaking one side of the narrative, do you have to live in fear of having these opportunities taken from you? Not even doing something, not even hurting somebody, but they took an opportunity from him because he just stated like, which by the way, I mean, I want to get your opinion on it, but it's like, what the fuck? Valerie Jarrett wasn't a victim. Roseanne's quote unquote victim. She had a comedian say, even at the worst case scenario, a racist thing about her. I would much rather have somebody say something racist about me than lose $30 million. Any day of the week. Any day of the week.
This is way over 30 seconds.
50. I mean, I'm looking at it.
Way over. I stopped listening a while
50.
ago. A minute 50.
A minute 50.
A minute
okay.
50.
Okay.
I'm disgusted with you. You've lost all track of time.
I'm off the Tonight Show.
Jesus Christ. I mean, what is this guy talking about? Jesus, get a grip. Get a grip. A quick abbreviated breakdown. And you went off on a tangent there. Listen, here's the thing. The Me Too movement is valid. Okay. And it's a fantastic thing because there is no place for sexual harassment in this world, whether you're a man, woman, child, whatever. Shouldn't happen. His choice of words. I heard him on the Howard Stern show, and he said he shouldn't have done it. He said he shouldn't have said it. He apologized. He said the choice of words were wrong, and they were, because it sounded like he was sympathizing with them over the victims. That said, there was a bit of a overreaction over it all. He clarified his comments. He apologized. But you wanted to talk about this last week when it first happened. And I said to you, I don't want to talk about this because it is a touchy subject for a lot of people, you know, and I don't really want to get my feet wet. I don't want to dive in with my massive size 12s and make a mockery of something that is a very powerful movement that is needed in this day and age, that I will say is somewhat abused at times as well and overplayed. So I don't know. It's a tricky one, but what was the question that the person asked?
Yeah, well, he had asked specifically
1 minute 50.
What do you think of this whole Tonight Show Norm MacDonald situation? I'm a huge Norm fan, and I really appreciate the support you've shown him on Twitter. This is to me specifically. Give his new show a plug on the podcast. So this is Matthew in Montreal. It wasn't so much that I wasn't supporting Norm because I don't fucking know Norm, and I don't give a shit. Like, every time a celebrity gets Me Too'd or dies in a fucking accident or whatever it is, in my opinion, I move up another bump in the industry. So I'm like, yeah, kill them all, dude. Louis C.K., whoever, get the fuck out of the way. That's the way that I feel about it. I'm not defending anybody. I am saying that comedians are supposed to be looking for truth. And the way that we do that is by, you know, trying to write jokes and have conversations about things that are uncomfortable sometimes. And when you're discouraging comedians from doing that, you're essentially killing comedy. And The Tonight Show is a show that should be encouraging the creation of great comedy and not discouraging the discussion, no matter what side you fall in the discussions. And I agree, the Me Too movement is extremely necessary, but don't devalue it by breaking anybody down that wants to discuss it beyond just like, oh, you're absolutely right. Because I think that's, dude, discussion is like, look, every time you have an argument with your girlfriend or your wife or your anybody, right? What is the way do you come to the solution? By having an actual discussion. You and your wife will get into an argument. You'll go home. You'll go in the opposite rooms. You'll fucking, cooler heads will prevail. You'll come back. You'll have a conversation for 20 minutes and you're in a great place. But without having that discussion, we never get to that place.
Whoa. What age do you think we're living in? That's not how it goes down in my house, Lewis.
She fucking listens.
In my house, she gets a fucking slap. She gets told to get her fucking ass in that kitchen, make me a sandwich, put the kettle on, I want a coffee. In the meantime, I'll be taking a nap on the couch. When I wake up, you better have a better fucking attitude, okay? Of course I'm joking. Of course I'm joking.
Of course you gotta say you're joking too, which is fucking crazy. It's crazy.
I know. Of course I'm joking.
Straight to the heart. I went a long time acting like I was a bro. Get apart by you.
They were asking you about Louis C.K.
Yes.
and Roseanne. Now,
Yes.
Roseanne was someone who gave you one of your first breaks in
My
show
very
business.
first job, yes.
You were actually writing
I
on
love
Roseanne.
yes.
And Louis is a friend of yours.
Louis is, the greatest comic there is.
And in the defense of them, somehow you got to this point where you said,
Well,
hey,
it wasn't really a defense of them. They asked me, what do you think of Roseanne, and what she did, and how she's doing. That's what they asked.
yes,
Because I've been in touch with her.
yeah,
So the day it happened, I phoned Roseanne because I know Roseanne, and she was crying, and she was so,
upset.
and heartbroken. I felt so bad, and so I said, I don't know what to say to you, Roseanne, because I've never been through this,
No.
And I said, let me ask a friend of mine that's been through this. And I was talking about Louis C.K.
Yeah.
Now, Roseanne had been really hard on Louis C.K.
Yes, when he
Yeah.
was in his controversy, she
before,
blasted his
and this
head.
was before he got
Right.
written up.
Yeah.
She said she named him. She said, "Fucking Louis C.K. is doing
Right.
a lot of bad things." So
So you had the idea that they should talk to one another.
I talked. Well, Louis did. I talked to Louis, and I said, I was worried about Roseanne because
Right.
I talked to her for 2 hours in a row. I was just crying the whole time, and I was like, I'm kind of worried about Roseanne. She's not the strongest person mentally.
Right.
And Louis said, I think I should talk to her because very few people have been through what we have been through. This particular, a very peculiar event where you say something or you do something and your career is wiped out forever. And this happens instantaneously. So I said, you should talk to her because you've been there. And they conflated that with me saying, because I said, now the victims went through worse, but it wasn't the same as that.
Yeah, what you said was the victims have, at least they don't lose everything.
Yeah.
That's where you got into trouble.
That's where I got into trouble.
Because I have people in my life who are victims of real bad sexual abuse.
I do too.
Rape, everything.
Yes.
And they go through. It destroys their life. They're never the same.
Oh, of course
their whole bodies shake at the thought of it. Some of them even black out when they think about this thing. It's horrible.
I know that. And of course, you'd have to have Down syndrome.
Not to know that.
My new word.
Down syndrome. Right. That's a good word.
You'd have to have Down syndrome to not feel sorry for, of course, I have. Me Too is what you want for your daughters. You know what I mean? And you want that to be the future world, of course.
Right.
And I meet all kinds of women that have the terrible stories, about what's happened to them. But I wasn't talking about the victims. I was talking about, they asked me about Roseanne. They asked me about Chris Hardwick. They asked me about Louis. And I told them, like if someone murders someone, and goes to jail, right? And then he gets out of jail after 10 years. And you go, I'm going to give this guy a job washing dishes because he's done his penance.
Right.
Nobody goes, well, what about the people he murdered? Well, of course, they had it off worse,
Yeah.
But I'm talking about the murderer. Give him a dishwasher job,
So do you think that the writer somehow merged all of these thoughts into one thing? Or do you feel you were quoted inaccurately? Or do you feel like you were treated fairly?
Well, I don't know. The original writer was for The Hollywood Reporter.
Right.
And he wrote it, and that wasn't the headline.
Right.
And so I don't know if he even noticed or anything. And then another place called Vulture, which is a WW computer.
Yeah.
They wrote, Norm MacDonald defends Louis Anderson.
Louis C.K. Louis C.K. You can't defend Louis Anderson. What did he do?
I defend, it says, in the headline, Norm MacDonald defends Louis C.K. and Roseanne Barr. And I never defended them.
My family comes from Russia. They're Russian Jews.
Russian and Jews is more like it. One of the biggest anti-Semites I've ever met.
Russian away from Jews.
I had a bar mitzvah.
What?
I had a bar mitzvah, Norm.
Yeah. You did?
Yeah.
Wait, are you Jewish?
Yes.
Get the fuck out of here. No, I'm kidding. I love the Jewish people. Yeah. He's a half a Jew and a half a self-hating Jew.
That's called anti-Semite.
An anti-Semite, yeah. He's a half a proud Jew and half a virulent anti-Semite. So
Disagree.
He's conflicted. He's a virulent anti-Semite. That's come out on the show.
Had a bar mitzvah.
But there's never anything about it.
Virulent?
Well, he's a Holocaust denier.
Oh.
I know you're very good friends with David Irving, the author, who he reads constantly.
Yeah, I'm not friends with David Irving.
Do you know that he, though, is a revisionist?
Oh, you're a revisionist?
Well, he's a denier, Holocaust denier. But he's never read David Irving because he said he's too smart. And I tell him, well, David Irving would be your biggest ally, you know what I mean, instead of these morons. You knew David Irving instantly when I said it, as if you're his best friend. He's Jewish.
Are you Jewish?
Yeah.
Okay, then you'll get it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Half Jewish.
No, I'm full.
Full Jewish.
Full Jewish. 100%. All right, then. But you're young, so you might not get it.
Maybe.
Okay, so here's the joke.
Holocaust denier.
I'm also...
I'm not going to hold that against you.
Thank you. Totally agree. 30 kids. Oh, was it 50?
Something
well,
like that.
Insane.
Some people they deserve
No.
capital. Are you anti-capital punishment or something?
No, I'm pro-capital punishment, but this guy starts talking numbers and deaths. Be careful, because it always gets back to the Holocaust denier. What?
What do you mean when you say stripped of everything?
Don't start this again. Please don't start this again. He doesn't believe in the whatever.
I never got to go to
camp. He doesn't believe in the Holocaust.
I never went to camp when I was a kid. Is that a good change of subject?
He doesn't believe that the Holocaust happened.
Do you not believe that?
I had a bar mitzvah again.
Yeah, then he says
Why
he
would you
has
have a bar mitzvah if you didn't believe the Holocaust happened?
Jesus, every time.
I'm surprised this guy's still on the air. He's a Holocaust denier.
Oh, well, I'll have another one for you tonight. As soon as we leave here.
He's a revisionist, a Holocaust denier.
Oh, God. Wow, you feel better. All of a sudden.
Wait, is it? Are you or not?
I had a bar mitzvah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I had a bar mitzvah. I'm full Jew.
What do you think about guys like this, though?
This guy?
Yeah.
He seems like
comes around. This is his little joke against the poor masses that came out of a chimney.
Being from Manchester, this has nothing to do with the Holocaust.
I didn't bring up the Holocaust.
You did.
I love the fact you sort of gleefully said, I didn't bring up the Holocaust. I normally do by mistake, but today, didn't even bring it up.
I know what a Passover Seder is, but the worst Passover Seder is when you're there and this guy is talking about the smokestacks of Birkenau.
Okay.
Not being true.
Because he doesn't think it's true.
There's no way I would bring that up at Pesach then.
You can't ignore it. I ignore this fucker when he starts talking about the smokestacks at Auschwitz and how the shadows couldn't make sense and all that shit.
Oh, I had a
The Holocaust.
Well, he answers me. You can't too ignore him. I ignore this motherfucker.
He said, how could there be poison, a poison gas? I don't know much about the Holocaust, but what did they have inside the...
The two of you together just are really giving a great homage to that whole time.
Inside the gas chambers, they put a certain type of gas. Zyklon gas.
There's a
Now,
number.
the guards would open the door and get the Zyklon all over their hand and die also. How would that not
Maybe
happen?
there was a subdoor.
But he had another thing.
I don't want to pretend we're something.
He said when the Allied planes came over, they have pictures apparently of the smokestacks, and he said the smokestacks drop a shadow. The smokestacks that we all know spewed out the sad remains of human souls that once had dreams and once loved. He says it's all a bunch of horse shit. He tells me this big story about how the pictures from the planes on Dachau and stuff don't show enough. The chimney is not long enough. It doesn't cast a long shadow enough to have possibly been big enough to service the killing machine of Hitler. That's what he told me.
I've been saying that for years.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, you finally found someone to agree with you. I just don't know how 6 million people disappear from the face of the earth.
Ask this motherfucker. He's the one that thinks that it didn't happen.
Well,
this
this is the closest I've seen to him admitting to the Holocaust, where he said, I think people have died. He's like 6 million, 600. What's the difference? I'm like,
well, there's a lot of difference.
There's a huge difference. Listen, everybody's entitled to their opinion. I say 6 million, he says 600. You say probably a number in between there somewhere.
I need your love. You free my mind. I need your love. Yeah, you free my mind.
It happened.
Fire pit.
He goes, it happened, but he goes, the numbers are all wrong. And then he goes, the other night he goes, 600 or 6 million, it's still terrible. I'm like, oh.
Okay.
That's not real.
All right.
Please
Listen,
tell me that's
I just
not
want to
true.
say, I just want to say a few things. I don't have a manager. I don't have an agent. I did have a
guess
bar
you
mitzvah.
don't.
I'm not a Holocaust denier.
Maybe you would if you didn't fucking. He thinks he's going to get a manager and agent, Jew, with that kind of shit. And a lot of homosexuals died in the fucking camps too, let's not forget.
Norm, shut up.
Well, I'm serious.
What do you think? I have more empathy now?
No, I'm saying
oh,
you
there were
should be more-
homosexuals.
you
What
should-
happened?
you should-
What happened? I thought there was just Jews. You're telling me there were homosexuals were in with those Jews? We got to do something. There's not enough documentaries.
By the way, I saw that film that you recommended me that you called a fantasy, Shoah. horrifying.
You really don't like Showa?
Shame. Shame.
Can't win them all.
Fantasy indeed.
Somebody's using the word Holocaust for a joke.
That's
It's
terrible.
that Chelsea stupid girl.
Chelsea Handler.
Yeah, she's got a guy and they love Holocaust, the word.
God, what is
with
that?
With that dwarf she's got with it, a misshapen dwarf.
Yeah, and he's
they
not
love
a white.
Holocaust.
He's not a white man either.
No.
And they do Holocaust humor.
Yeah, and I keep. Why does she keep repeating that joke?
God, even that word.
Terrible thing to bring up. Yeah.
God Almighty.
Yeah, I would agree.
All right, I apologize to all the viewers.
I'm not an apologist.
You are an apologist. And we're going to read jokes. We read jokes.
I thought you were going to talk about this thing.
We're going to talk about the man. What about the man great?
Is that like a genital cleanser?
No! No, my God. What is the man great, you ask?
Okay.
Huh?
Fine, I didn't, but...
You didn't ask. It is 100% made in America. Cast iron grilling grates.
Iron. You don't pronounce it iron.
That's what everybody tells me.
It's the iron horse. Like Lou Gehrig was the iron horse of baseball.
Yes.
The word I-R-O-N is iron. No, iron.
Cast iron.
Iron?
Cast iron grilling grates that are
kidding when you say iron?
You know what? Don't be like fucking Larry King. That motherfucker, I say iron and he's up my asshole for fucking 4 days.
It should be iron. That's what makes English the world's toughest language.
Yeah?
You know, right? Sure.
It is the
Because
toughest language.
to
To me,
learn.
it's the easiest. Man, great. Great. Have you heard of the man great?
Yes, I have.
You have?
Yeah.
Where'd you hear about it?
On Adam Carolla's podcast.
Wow.
Yeah.
How about that? Do you have a father? Man great is the perfect gift for this Father's Day. Is he alive?
Yeah.
Yeah. 100% made in America. If he was dead, it would have been a really bad moment in the commercial. Your dad's alive?
No.
Fuck. God damn it. I'm sorry about your dad.
That's fine.
Your father's dead. But you have children. You are a father.
Yes, and I'm not dead.
Yes.
Maybe you'll give me one and
I'll give you one. Is your mom still alive?
My mom?
Yeah.
No, she's dead.
Jesus Christ, is any of your relatives fucking alive? It's man great. They're revolutionizing the way people grill. What, Adam Egan? It's true. You haven't heard of the revolution? You can put chicken on this or steak. That's not that unique. It has heavy duty grilling grates. Why are you laughing? You think the grilling grates are flimsy?
These are very heavy.
Yes, no, but that's part of the charm. It weighs a lot of pounds.
Is that heavy?
Yeah. Listen, man, what was that fucking Vegas story?
Jesus Christ.
Sorry.
What is in that?
Again. It's revolutionizing the way people grill.
Jesus.
What?
I thought it was like a, all right.
You want to hear what it has?
Yeah.
It has heavy-duty grilling grates. Listen. No more dry meat. What do you think of that?
Good. You want your meat juicy.
Oh, come on now. Don't make it sound like a fucking fat, plumpy, delicious cock. No more flare-ups. You know, in your barbecues, all those big flare-ups. It was named one of 2012's best grilling accessories. There's more fucking facts about the man grate than about Nick. Why are you laughing? You're making a mockery out of the man grate. Chicken, steak, has never tasted so good. Hey, how about this? Each NORM MACDONALD show order comes with a heavy-duty grilling brush.
Jesus.
You don't want to put that on your not dry meat?
Look at that. Those things are dirty.
No.
That's from the iron.
Are you sure?
Yes. Well, it's not from my cock. I just went to the bathroom. You say cock so much.
I'm coming in your butt.
Oh my God. Well, listen, man. Hey,
your mouth is my toilet.
Again. This commercial is like a mini-series. Are you a jingoist? 100% made in America. 100% cast iron. Mangrate.com. Thank you, Andy. That's yours. You just threw your own going away present with contempt to the floor. That was our only sponsor.
Oh, yeah, and you lost.
Yeah, now we found out we lost Mangrate as a sponsor. And then earlier today, I think we were told legally we can't say we lost them as a sponsor even.
Yeah, I think we were still waiting to find out if we were allowed to say that.
But anyways, that was Schwartz.
We lost them.
That was Nick Schwartz that fucked it all up.
I was at a party with a friend, and so I noticed you first. And you returned my gaze, knew how to quench my thirst. You took me to that room like a dream come true. The dance you performed was just for me and you. Kisses on the neck, then you work your way down. Let yourself go for me all around town. Seduct so good.
One of your lesser known, but one of my favorite things you've ever done is a commercial you did for the Mangrate.
God. That's an online-only thing, don't you think?
It's got like 100,000, maybe a couple of million views. And I just want to know, did they ever come around to your interpretation of their ad and their product?
No, well, what he's referring to is I have this podcast that, I do this podcast, I don't make any money off it. And then they're like, do this commercial. I'm like, fuck, I don't even make any money. And so there was this goddamn thing called a Mangrate. And it weighed like 100 pounds. It was supposed to be some sort of cooking device for steak. And I had to read all this thing. And I couldn't even lift it. And I was like sweating profusely. And talking about what it was. And then, I don't know.
It gets very colorful.
Like what?
It gets very colorful.
It gets very colorful. Yeah, and I'm not going to say what I said here in a house of worship. But no, they never came around to seeing the...
that sponsorship ended.
That sponsorship ended without amicability.
Well, the U.S. Olympic Committee announced that both Nancy Kerrigan and Tanya Harding will go on to the Olympics in Norway next month. However, in light of the recent events, Harding will be sent immediately to the penalty box for high sticking. In any event, the Nancy Kerrigan story continues to fascinate America. Here with a comment is Update correspondent Norm MacDonald. Norm?
Thank you. Well, like all of you, I was absolutely horrified by the assault on skater Nancy Kerrigan last week. No one could possibly condone the idea of clubbing a young woman on the knee like that. But on the other hand, does anyone really like figure skating? The person or persons responsible for this mindless attack should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. But it does seem like figure skating is on TV way too much. Now, I, for one, am beginning to feel that this brutal assault is more than an isolated incident. Our society is rapidly falling apart. And this attack is just another symptom, like that Brian Boitano guy. I mean, what the hell's the story with him? You know, if he's such a good skater, why didn't he just play hockey? In any case, I think it's time that we come together as a society and make it clear that we're not going to tolerate thugs solving their problems with violence. And we're not going to tolerate TV executives who make us watch hours and hours of figure skating when there are good hockey games not even being televised. Now, I'm not going to get into that age-old argument of which is worse, violence or figure skating. I mean, that's not going to solve anything. They're both unacceptable and they should be eliminated. And then maybe one day we'll live in a world where we can walk our streets without being terrorized, and we can watch our TVs without seeing that Brian Boitano guy hopping around. Thank you, Kevin.
Norm MacDonald, ladies and gentlemen. Well, Whitewater continues to dominate the headlines and is the subject of tonight's homophobic perspective. Here is update correspondent and homophobic guy, Norm MacDonald. Norm?
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you. First of all, let me say I have nothing against homosexuals. I think homosexuals are no better or worse than any of the rest of us. I just happen to be afraid of them. It's no big deal. Now, I'm here to talk tonight about this so-called Whitewater scandal. You know, unless you've been living in a cave for the past year, I'm sure you're familiar with every tedious and confusing detail. Does the media really believe that the American people even care about some land deal that took place over 15 years? Hey, Kevin, can you give me a little room here?
What?
I'm trying to do this Whitewater thing, you know, you're kind of close.
You're sitting exactly where all the update correspondents sit, Norm.
Oh, is that right, huh? Well, that works out good for you then, doesn't it? Listen. Wonder who came up with that policy, huh? Anyways, my point is that I think it's about time the media began giving the same kind of coverages to issues like health care. Did you just move closer to me?
What? No.
It looks like you're closer.
No, Norm, I'm in precisely the same place. Now just get on with your editorial.
Hey, maybe we should share a chair. Is that better for you? We could sit in the same chair? Maybe that'd be better. Save on chairs. That could be your new policy. Man. Anyways, the media, I have always felt, should not shape public sentiment, but rather reflect it. And I think that in the case of Whitewater, the public is saying loudly and clear, can I help you?
What?
Is there something I can help you with?
No, look, Norm, okay, I've had about enough of this, all right? So why don't you just do me a favor and finish your editorial, please?
All right, hey, maybe you could do me a favor, too. How'd that be? Maybe you could gaze lovingly into somebody else's eyes for 5 seconds. Would that be all right? Anyways, the media has always served an important role in this society, and that has been the role of watchdog. But who, I ask you, who is watching the watchdog? I mean, we all know who's watching my crotch, right? It's Buddy Boy over here, but no president has ever undergone the intense scrutiny that Bill Clinton has. I wonder how well any of us would fare if our lives were placed under the magnifying glass. I thought you were married or something.
I am married. But look, Norm, I've had it. Obviously, you're implying something about my sexuality, and why don't you just come right out and say it?
No, I'm not implying anything. I'm talking about Whitewater. I'm not implying anything. Why don't you just go over some of your fake news, and I'll finish up here.
No, I don't think so, pal. Just say what you have to say in my face. Be a man.
I am a man. I'm a man. I'm a man. I am a man. I'm just saying that you're kind of that way, right? I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but you prefer your own gender, that's all. You partake of the love that dare not speak its name, right? That's all right. That's no problem. I mean, you find the idea of being with a woman abhorrent to your very core. That's okay. You know, you're homosexual, right? You're gay. I mean, you're a gay man, right?
No.
No. Methinks thou doth protest too much.
Look, why don't you just leave?
Fine with me.
Norm MacDonald, everybody. Michael Jackson was in a Denver courtroom this week. He's being sued by a woman who claims the pop star stole her song Dangerous. Here with a comment is update correspondent Norm MacDonald. Norm, what do you got?
Thank you, Kevin. Well, I'm getting sick and tired of people attacking Michael Jackson, impugning his integrity and damaging his reputation. I don't believe a word of it. Now, I'm not saying that Michael Jackson is perfect, far from it. He may well be guilty of methodically seducing a string of young boys. I'll give you that. But Michael Jackson is no plagiarist. It's just not in his character. Now, let's look at the facts. This 40-year-old woman claims that Michael stole her song. Now, ask yourself, where would Michael Jackson come into contact with a 40-year-old woman? He hangs out with young boys. He's a child molester, for God's sakes. It's ridiculous. And I, for one, am getting tired of people dragging his name through the mud. But this woman apparently wants to make a few bucks, and she doesn't care who she hurts in the process. Isn't it odd that she's the only one who's ever accused Michael of song stealing? That we've never heard this accusation from anyone close to Michael? like his maids and butlers and bodyguards and the children he regularly has sex with. Isn't that a little odd? But I guess the facts don't matter very much in the dirty little game of character assassination. You see, even if Michael is vindicated in court, as I'm sure he will be, he'll always carry this with him. He'll no longer be Michael Jackson, the child-molesting superstar. He'll be Michael Jackson, the song stealer. I feel sorry for Michael. But you know who I feel more sorry for? Is the children. The children around the world who look up to Michael as a role model, who performs original material and sometimes has sex with them. Maybe they are the real victims of this frivolous lawsuit. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, Norm.
Allegedly.
Norm MacDonald, ladies and gentlemen. I think we know the alleged thing.
Wait, are you gonna have Thanksgiving though? Thanksgiving's coming up.
Oh yeah, Thanksgiving. We're gonna have a lot of time. We're gonna go see my uncle. I saw my uncle the other day. Oh, my uncle, he's having troubles, Conan.
Why is he having trouble?
You know my uncle Basil?
I don't know him.
No, but I've talked to him before.
Yeah, you've mentioned him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's having troubles. His memory's not too good. You know, and it's not. Thank God, it's not Alzheimer's or anything like that. But when a guy gets old, he starts forgetting. His memory starts, he doesn't, remember.
Right.
So I went to him, I went and talked to him, and I said to him, because I heard he got this new medicine for his memory at the doctor's.
Yeah.
So I said to him, I said, Uncle Basil, I said, how's that memory stuff working out, the medicine? He says, it's going good. I said, what's it called, that medicine, memory medicine?
That memory medicine, yeah.
I said, what's it called? What's the name of it? He goes, oh, the name of it. What is it now? Again, I can't remember now. He says, what's the name of that flower you give to people? And I said, I don't know. What, a tulip? And he said, no, not a tulip. He said, it's, what is it now? It's a kind of a flower people wear. I said, is it a carnation? I don't know, Uncle Basil. He says, no, what the hell is it called? It's red. I said, I don't know, a rose? He said, yes. He said, Rose, what's the name of that medicine that the doctor gave me?
You rapscallion. Now listen, we want to talk about your uncle, because every time you come on the show, you have a story about your uncle who lives up in Canada.
Oh, yeah, he's a Frenchman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you always have like a little story about him.
Jean-Luc. Oh, yeah, he's a crazy character, that dude. He originally visited New York City. Hello?
I'm just having a drink. I can listen to you and have a drink. It's not like I went like this. Hold it. Ooh. Ah, liquid. Huh? I'm still here. Let's see if I got this right. You've got an uncle, lives up in Canada, named Jean-Luc.
Jean-Luc.
Occasionally he visits. Once time he visited New York.
So I'm living in New York, And Jean-Luc, I'm excited. Jean-Luc's going to come by, my crazy Frenchman uncle. So he gets in the cab, right?
When he gets to the airport.
Yeah, he gets to the airport, the cab driver picks him up, and the cab driver says to him, hey, Frenchman, he says, do you like riddles, So my uncle Jean-Luc, he's like, yes, I love the riddles. That's how he talks. He goes, I like nothing better than a riddle. So the cabbie's like, all right, here's one, right? So he said, here's the riddle. His brothers and sisters, I have none, but this man's father is my father's son. So my uncle goes, I don't know. Right? So the cabbie goes, it's me. It's me.
Oh, yeah, makes sense.
Oh, he thinks about it. Oh, by God, he says, that's a good riddle there. He says, I have to tell my wife, Mary Claire, when I get back to Gaspé. That's where he lives, Gaspé.
Right.
So he's like, take me back to the airport. And the cabbie's like, what? Right? The cabbie's like, I thought you wanted to go visit Norm then. No. I go back to the airport. All right, I have to tell Mary Claire. Seems odd, right?
Right.
Gets back on the plane, flies all the way back home there to Gaspé. And he gets back, right? Runs in the door. Mary Claire, it's vous. Where are you, Mary Claire? Come on down here. I have a riddle for you. She goes, oh, Jean-Luc, I love the riddle. She's a woman, high voice.
Michael Jackson was visiting. Yeah, all right.
So, you're going to love this riddle. How was New York? Forget about that. I got the riddle. Brothers and sisters, I have none. But this man's father, he's my father's son. She goes, I don't know. Who is it? Some cab driver back in New York.
You didn't mean to do that, did you?
No, I didn't.
Be honest, you didn't mean to do that.
I didn't at all. I just got to the end. That guy, man, I always tell my uncle, you shouldn't curse so much. You know?
Oh, man. All right. We're going to pick up the pieces.
Yeah.
So, you got a week off.
Yeah, I got a week off coming up. After this show, I got a week off, so it's going to be great.
Do you see your family much?
Every break, I like to go back and see my folks, you know, and also my uncles and aunts and all that, you know. They're great people. The old people, you know, what I find about the old people is...
Just in general.
In general, they had so much more interesting lives than we do, you know. Like, you know what I mean? Like we, you know, we go out, our generation, we go, okay, hey, let's go to a movie, and then we'll do the laundry and get some quarters for the laundry, and then we'll have read the Sports Illustrated, you know, and whatever, right?
Right.
But these guys, they had lives, you know? Where they, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Yeah. So anyways, for instance, my Uncle Phil. You ever meet my Uncle Phil?
I didn't meet your Uncle Phil, no.
Oh, you didn't? He was...
Yeah, we don't know each other that well. Remember?
That's true.
No,
So,
I've not met your Uncle Phil.
He's a good man, Uncle Phil. So he was telling me, you know, he's just one of these guys that has so many lives pushed into one. He just does so many things, you know? And he was telling me, he says, he's a kind of a jack of all trades, you'd call him.
Yeah. That's a good phrase.
Yeah, he's a jack of all trades. So he was telling me, he said, the problem is you're not really appreciated for any single thing because you're so good at so many things. You understand what I mean?
I hear you.
Yeah. So he said to me one time, he says, Norm, he says, we were just walking through his town, you know, of Monkland, Maine he lives in. And we were just walking through the town. He's an old fella, you know?
Right, one of the old people.
Yeah, he's 80.
Yeah, 80, okay.
80 years young, he says. So he goes, Norm, you see that barn over there, he says to me. I look over, there's a barn. I go, yeah. He goes, I built that barn with my own hands, all by myself. But he goes, do they call me, do they say, there's Phil, the barn builder? No, sir, he says. I said, yeah. He goes, look over there, you see that weather balloon? He says, you don't know this about me, Norm. He says, I was one of the first men ever to fly in a weather balloon.
Wow.
He says, but do they say, hey, there goes Phil, the weather balloon pioneer? No. He says, look over there, there's a bakery that I started. You know, that dirty bastard Bob has it now, but I'm the guy that started that bakery. And I go, all right, easy. And he goes, I started that bakery and I was the best baker, but does anybody go, oh, there goes Phil, the great baker? No, he says, but he says, let me tell you something, Norm. He says, you have sex with one goat. And... He says, people then, they say, there goes Bill, the dirty goat.
Get rid of that. We don't need that microphone anymore, do we? Wow, well, I do want to meet this man someday. He sounds fascinating.
I need your love. You free my mind. I need your love.
Let me ask you quickly, we haven't talked to you in so long, I want to ask you about your family.
My great family. I love them all.
How's your, we used to talk in the old days, you and I used to spin some yarns about Uncle Hector. How's Uncle Hector?
Oh, Uncle Hector. Uncle Hector.
He's Polish too, I'm guessing.
No, he wasn't Polish.
Oh, okay.
No, he was from my cousin's side of the family. And he was... He was a great man, my uncle, you know. He was an old fella. He actually rode the rails during the Depression.
Oh.
You know, he was a hobo.
Hobo.
As you might call him. I don't like that term, but whatever.
Tramp or whatever,
Yeah,
what
he's a
have you.
tramp, railroad bum. And, but he wasn't a bum. He was just out. He was a good, honest man during the Depression searching for work, you know. And, you know, he had no money, so he'd travel the country trying to find work, and he actually rode the rails, Uncle Hector. And he told me, it was an interesting story, he'd go through, this was in Canada, and there's a town called Kitchener in Canada, and the railroad cops were tough, boy. They were tougher than real cops, you know. They had a law of their own, the railroad cops.
I feel like I should be tucked into bed listening to you. Anyway, a law of their own, those railroad cops.
But there was not a railroad cop tougher than Kitchener Leslie. Oh, boy. He was well known. He was well known for beating hobos to death.
Really? He'd find a hobo on his train, he'd beat him to death.
He'd beat him to death. And so what the railroad bums would all do is, as Kitchener approached, of course... Oh, hey, Alan. Hey, Norm. How you doing? So...
Wow, such focus on these stories.
That wasn't a mirror. That was another guy.
Oh, it was a guy named Norm.
Yeah. So the railroad bums would all hop off before they got to Kitchener to avoid being beaten to death by Kitchener Leslie.
Yeah.
Anyways, my Uncle Hector, a good man, you know, and he walked into a mine one day. This is a story for that they think the young people could learn from.
Don't go mine hopping, kids.
During the height of the Depression, where there was absolutely no work, my Uncle Hector walked into I won't say the name of the mining company. It was McIntyre Mine, and he walked in. He had his lunchbox with him and his work boots, and he said, "Sir," he said, "I want a job." And they said, "We have no jobs." He said, "Well, 500 people work here at McIntyre Mine." He goes, "I don't think there are 500 men here better than I." He says, "As a matter of fact, I don't think there are 200 men better than I." He says, I think you'd be strapped to find 100 men better than I. And by golly, he got the job. What do you think of that?
That's a great story.
Now,
I'm sensing there's more. Now back to Kitchener Leslie.
Yeah.
The most dreaded...
No. Uncle Hector.
What?
No.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to help you out.
No, Uncle Hector.
Dad, where's this story going?
Uncle Hector worked in a mine, and it's a hellish job, the mine, as you well know. You know, darkness, you know.
It's dank. It's
dank.
Yeah.
It's coaly. It's a lot of...
What?
Well, you're in a coal mine.
It's not coaly. It's coal-ridden.
It's coal-infested.
It's not coaly.
It's coal-infested. So he worked in the mine, and by God, he worked hard. And after a week of working hard, he said to the shift manager, he said, "By golly, I'd like to have a lady. I work hard, and where would I find a lady here in town?" Well, they said to Uncle Hector, they says, we have sex with animals here. By God, says Uncle Hector, I'm not going to do that. I'm a normal fella. Well, then be to your own devices then. So,
Be to your own devices?
Yeah.
Wow.
Uncle Hector continued working in the mine. He worked hard, and he worked long, and he worked for a low wage. But he was a man. And Uncle Hector, after a couple of weeks passed, he started to get a little itch, you know, as you and I say.
Right.
You know?
Right. Well, when we're thinking about the
ladies,
yeah.
And, but he kept it under control. He went again, and he said, "Are you sure there's no ladies here?" "No, we have sex with animals." Ah, my God. 6 months passed, and Uncle Hector couldn't take it any longer, he told me.
Right.
He said, "By God, I just had to, I'm just a man, I'm weak, you know. I'm not a saint, you know, and I was born in sin, I suppose, and I couldn't resist. I just needed it." So he said he walked by a pasture, and there was a pig.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
that's terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible. And so Uncle Hector said, well, he said, I walked up and I began having sex with a pig. And he said, all of a sudden, he saw all the miners, like, around him, you know, looking at him. They go, "Uncle Hector, what the hell are you doing over there?" And Uncle Hector's like indignant. He's like, "What? Well, you're the guys that told me that you have sex with animals." They're like, Uncle Hector, you damn fool. That's Kitchener Leslie's girlfriend. Of all the
animals to have sex with.
You don't want to have sex
not with Kitchener Leslie's pig. No, that's terrible.
Not Kitchener Leslie's pig. Kitchener Leslie's lady.
Oh, yeah.
Dad would always tell this joke, and it was about a little boy called Dirty Johnny. You know, and he'd be in class. You ever heard Dirty Johnny?
The Dirty Johnny jokes, yes. Heard the whole series.
In this in this joke, he's not dirty. But anyways, the teacher has a thing, and the teacher says, today in class, we are going to have a little experiment. You're going to tell a story from your real life, and then afterwards, you are going to tell the moral of that story. You know? So Sheila puts up her hand, and the teacher says, Sheila, what's your story? So Sheila says, well, my dad works at the hatchery, and he took some eggs, and he put them all in a basket. All the eggs he put in one basket. And then he put them in the horse and buggy, and off we went to town, and the earth was uneven, and the eggs broke. And the teacher goes, well, that's an all right story, but I can't understand what the moral would be to that story. So Sheila says, well, the moral is, don't put all of your eggs into one basket. So the teacher says, well, by God, this is exactly what I'm looking for and what I was hoping for with this experiment.
Yeah.
And anybody else have one? So Marjorie puts up her hand. Okay, Marjorie, what's your story? Well, my father works for the hatchery. Most of us.
Most people in that town worked in the hatchery.
Worked at the hatchery.
Thank God for the hatchery, she says. Or where would we be? So she says, my father, he sells chickens. And he knows that eggs become chickens. See what I mean? So he had to count his chickens so he could go and sell them in town. So he had 9 chickens and 5 eggs. So instead of saying he had 9 chickens, he added the 5 eggs. You see, he counted them as chickens. So he said, I have 14 chickens. So he took them, Sheila says, and put them in the horse and buggy, and off they went to town, but the land was uneven. The chickens sure survived easily. They frolicked. The eggs broke. Well, the teacher says again, that's a story, you know. But what on earth could the moral of that story be? Well, Sheila says, if that's her name, I forgot. She says, don't count your chickens before they hatch out of the eggs.
Right.
Teacher says you could probably shorten it a little. So, but that's great. And that's exactly what we're looking for. And then she looks at the back of the class, and by God, there's the upraised hands, as you say, fucking Dirty Johnny.
Fucking Dirty Johnny. He's going to ruin the lesson.
So the teacher, inside of her head, her thoughts are moving around, and she's like, God, I don't want to hear Dirty Johnny say it. This is going so well, but at the same time, I took a vow, and I became a teacher that every student... All right, Johnny, let's hear your story. So Dirty Johnny gets up, and he says, this is a story about my Uncle Terry. He didn't work for the hatchery. He didn't even like people that did. He was in Vietnam. And he lives on the disability checks he got. Uncle Terry was not a popular man, not even among those he worked with. And I suppose we've all heard of people who've deserted from their battalion. But I don't know if you've ever heard of a battalion deserting a man. That's what they did with with Uncle Terry. One day, Uncle Terry awoke in the middle of Da Nang, and everybody was gone. He was alone, and they'd left him 3 bottles of Jack Daniels and some weaponry. So, Uncle Terry got up, says Dirty Johnny, and he downed the bottle of Jack Daniels in 2 slugs, and he threw it down and smashed it into the jungle. And then he walked, picked up the 2 Kalashnikovs and 3 or 4 Glocks and a couple of hand grenades, and off he walked into the unknown, the jungle, his fate. Came upon a village, and from the village came people. Now, were they Charlie, or were they the people that Terry was sent to protect from Charlie? Uncle Terry didn't know. But he knew he had to do something, so he took another swig from the bottle, and he let loose. Took that Kalashnikov, and he let it sway like a farmer would a scythe. And the bullets came, and just as hay would fall before a farmer, so the people fell before Uncle Terry. The men, the women, and by God, even the children. And finally, Uncle Terry stood alone in the mud and the blood and the guts and only at himself. He took a long swig, and his hand brushed against his pants, and he felt wetness, and then he felt shame because he realized he had urinated himself in fear. And then, upon closer inspection, he realized it was not urine. It's ejaculate. And his shame was replaced by pride. And the teacher goes, "Holy fucking shit, what the fuck? Fucking kind of fucking story is that? Like, we just heard the hatchery and shit, and now this?" She goes, Uncle Terry, well, Dirty Johnny, what on earth could be the moral to such a story? So Johnny thinks about it for a couple of minutes, and he goes, "Well, I don't know, I guess. Well, I know one thing. You don't fuck with Terry when he's had some drink in him." And he's uncorked the jug. You stay away from Uncle Terry. And he doesn't like anybody that works at the hatchery either. You remember that. You tell your parents that.
Wow.
Thank you from Norm. This would mean so much to be recognized for what's so important to him, which is comedy. He would never even hurt a bug. He would capture and release a bug, so helping any animal meant so much to him. So please be kind to everyone and every being. Thank you so much.
I just wanted to say that my father loved dogs, and he loved the 2nd annual HCA Award.
Look at this.
There we go.
Looks almost like a dog.
It is a dog.
It's a dog?
Yeah, his name is Pizza.
Pizza. Well, you have a dog. I never thought of a dog as a zoo animal.
Oh, we have a lot of animals there.
Well, what can you tell us about the dog?
Well, the dog is a subspecies of the gray wolf.
Oh, gray wolf. Do you have any gray wolves?
Oh, we have so many gray wolves.
Oh, well, bring them in. Where are they?
They're back at the zoo.
They're at the zoo.
Far too dangerous.
I hope this thing doesn't attack me, whatever it is.
All right, I think you guys.
Let's see what it is. What is this? Looks like a dog.
It is.
It's another fucking cocksucking dog. I knew it. Anyways, well, this is a cutie. What's this girl's name?
This is Arnett.
Arnett.
She's very special. Did you know that dogs are a subspecies of the gray wolf?
Yeah, I fucking knew that.
Everything's expensive. Everything costs money there, you know. I went to buy a dog. I couldn't believe how much these dogs cost. Salesman in a store trying to sell me the most expensive dog in a store, you know. Big $600 dog. Big pit bull, $600, you know. And I was looking to pay, you know, maybe a buck, something like that, you know. $2, something like that, you know. But I was going, hey, don't you got a bargain dog around the joint here? Any kind of a dog of the week going on this week? A big bin of dogs maybe that I could pull something out of there? But this guy goes, no, he says, why don't you buy this pit bull? He says, this kind of expensive dog, but he goes, this will protect your valuables, this dog. You know? And, you know, I don't have anything very valuable, you know, I don't own a lot of stuff there, you know. I buy the pit bull, that would be the most valuable thing I own, right? I'd have to buy something to protect it then, you know. I'd be out shopping for Wolverines the next day there. Show me something in a timber wolf, my good man. I'd be saying to some good man there. No, you don't want a dog like that, man. I want a dog do things for me, you know. Fetch my slippers. That's the joy of having a dog, you know. Pitbull won't do that stuff. Go, hey, Pitbull, fetch my slippers. Pitbull go, hey, I could kill you, pal. I'm a pit bull. Don't you read the papers or anything? I kill. That's all I don't fetch. I fetch people. That's all I fetch. I can fetch you a guy. That's the best I could do there. And maybe you're wearing some slippers. How'd that be? When I was young, no such thing as a pit bull. When I was a kid, it was the meanest dog around, the Doberman dog. You know? And they'd kill you, too. They'd rip your throat out just the same, you know? But not fast like a pit bull, eh? A Doberman always give you a little head start there, you know? They were a sporting dog, them Doberman. They'd see you in the street, they'd go, hey, that your house over there? Yeah, go ahead. Then they soar through the air and rip your throat out. And do a flip, you know, and you'd be impressed, even though you're dead, you know? Man, look at that flip. But I don't want it. You don't see Dobermans around anymore. You ever notice that? Pit bulls now, they got all the work and everything. All the domestic security jobs go to the pit bulls. And man, a Doberman's like the forgotten dog now, you know? Once in a while you see him on a park bench with a Frisbee there, you know? I used to be somebody. I'm a Doberman. Got a buck? Buck for the Doberman? So I don't get any of those killer dogs, you know. I always buy a dog. When I'm buying a dog, I think to myself, I go, hey, if this dog goes berserk, could I take him? I got a nice wiener dog. I got one of them wiener dogs. Wiener dog can't rip your throat out or anything like that, you know. Unless you're lying down, you know. You have to be lying down sleeping there, you know, and a wiener dog sneak up late at night, start nibbling at your throat there. Maybe by daybreak he's got a hold of a vein there, he's pulling out a vein there. You know, you wake up, oh, get away from me, you wiener dog. The hell you think you are, a pit bull or something there? Get my vein back there. Where's he get out of a wiener dog? There's a hickey, a little hickey there. That's about all. And that's embarrassing too. Hey, you ever have a hickey, man? You be walking down the street, people see, hey, you got a wiener dog over there, huh? So I do, now that you mention it. Well, a beef-flavored water for dog hit stores this week, and dogs are eagerly anticipating the arrival next month of the newest water flavor, other dogs' asses. That it? Whoop, there I am. I thought I was over there. A sheepdog carrying $250,000 worth of cocaine in its stomach was found at JFK Airport earlier this week. A customs agent got suspicious when he saw two airline employees taking turns sniffing the dog's ass. And in California, a new restaurant has opened exclusively for dogs. Their specialty? A fried chicken dinner, said to be scrotum-licking good. In Oklahoma, sheriff's deputies are using police dogs to sniff for bodies buried on an 80-acre farm. The dogs have sniffed the ground for 3 days, but so far all they've dug up is another dog's ass. In Topeka, Kansas, the fire department is now using a new weapon to fight arson. A black Labrador trained to sniff out chemicals used in setting fires. Although it should be noted, if this dog is correct, the culprit in every arson fire this month is some other dog's ass. And finally, in California, pet owners. Pet owners can now take their canine friends to the world's first doggy wedding chapel, where dogs can actually be married in a civil ceremony. The ceremony ends when the Justice of the Peace says, "You may now sniff the ass." Well, now there is finally a matchmaking service for dogs. At Happy Animals, matchmakers guarantee to find your dog a perfect mate based on height, weight, age, and breed. So far, the dog dating service has had a 100% success rate because, according to its founders, any dog will have sex with any other dog. Well, President Clinton received an early Christmas present this week, an adorable Labrador puppy. And presidential historians say that it will be good for his image. According to these scholars, in comparison to a male dog, the president's sex life will seem relatively normal.
I have a joke.
Oh, Norm's got a joke. Wait a minute. Here we go. Go.
A dog walks into a telegraph office where they send telegrams. Telegram office, right? And so the guy says, "Okay, what do you want your telegram to read?" So the dog goes, "Woof, woof, 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 woof." And then the guy goes, "Oh, I notice you have 9 words. Do you want to put an extra woof like it's for free?" And then the dog goes, "No, that wouldn't make any sense."
I was at a party with a friend and I noticed you first, and you returned my gaze, knew how to quench my thirst. You took me to that room like a dream come true. The dance you performed was just for me and you. Kisses on the neck, then you work your way down. Let yourself go for me all around town. Seductively stood before me.
It is kind of gross, you know, if you're not into it, because it's like why not jerk your dog off? You know, your dog probably likes it, but that's because it's gross. Yeah, he's a weird one, man.
How many people, though, seriously? No, I agree with you, it's gross. Michigan man Curtis Peterson received a 15-year prison sentence for having sex with his pet pit bull. What's that, lassie? Woof, woof. Grandpa got stuck in a well? Woof, woof. Oh, you got raped. You think that happens a lot? Like lonely people and their dogs?
Jerking off their dogs?
Oh, yeah. Every time I see a woman walking down the street with a real big dog, I'm like, oh, they're going out.
Women?
Women are
but they don't
going
even
out
like
with
fucking.
They're going out with their dogs. No, they get their dogs to either go down on them. You know, Judd Apatow recently, and I'm apologizing to him.
Oh, but his dog is sexy.
Veterinarians in Colorado have reported that marijuana use is on the rise amongst dogs. They say you'll know if your dog is too high if it starts making a really tall sandwich.
They like sweets better when they're high.
Yes, I don't know. You know, dogs and humans love to run because it apparently gives them a natural high similar to that of marijuana, according to the University of Arizona. Wow. After running what are called cannabinoids, the chemical found in marijuana that gives you a feeling of euphoria, are higher in humans and dogs, and this encourages them to run again. To 7-Eleven for a Slurpee.
A good name for a dog is Syndrome. That then when he tries to attack someone, you can yell Down Syndrome.
Don't laugh.
It's not. I mean, it's
That's like
it was a little insensitive, I guess.
To stop a pit bull attacking her daughter, a Texas man bit the dog. Well, that's an interesting story. A man bites a dog. It's not what I would call news.
Man bites dog?
Yeah.
Used to be dog bites man, right?
Yeah.
Is that the joke?
Yeah.
I don't get this. I don't get it. Do you write these for real?
Sure, junkyard dogs are mean, but the meanest dogs are generally found guarding concentration camps. And it says here, there's a note. Early versions of the Jim Croce's 1973 smash hit Big Bad Leroy Brown. Do you remember that song?
Tell the people a bit better.
No, do you know what you just said?
It
Do you have
included.
any idea what you just
This
read?
says it
No, did you have any idea what you just read?
That
It was an
junkyard dogs.
anti-Semitic joke about the concentration camps.
No.
Oh,
Not
what do you mean?
anti-Semitic at all.
No, it's Semitic?
No.
Well, you know, I know what the problem
They
is.
use
'cause
Did
the-
you write it?
I didn't write that.
Who wrote it?
They
Are you-
use the meanest dogs.
I don't know who wrote it, but I think the problem is that some people might not know what the concentration camps are. So you might need to-
Concentration camps were found in Poland.
Oh my God!
And
Oh,
what?
fucking
What?
almighty. Oh my Christ
Concentration
almighty.
camps
Please
were-
get my nurse. I swear to God, get her in here right now and
I'm
reel
trying
me
to
away.
explain to the
Did you
folks
have-
who
You
know.
are
Did you have too much
You
salt?
know what? This is your first show, and these are the.
Well, I don't want to bring up the systemic, extermination attempt against the Jewry of Europe, but this says on this piece of paper that Bad Leroy Brown initially included the line meaner than a concentration camp dog, but Croce decided it was unpleasant to the ear. And it was also offensive to Jews, gypsies, and homosexuals. Little did it matter, Croce would be dead within.
And on the American side, writer, critic, and broadcaster Joe Queenan, and from Saturday Night Live, Mr. Norm MacDonald is with us. So let's get on with the headlines here. We've met everybody. Lowry, let me bring this up to you. Definitely the biggest piece of news in the world this week is this headline right here. Take a look.
Yes,
She's Madonna now. It's about Madonna having a baby, which to me, with all the sex she's had, law of averages, I would think. So why do people care about
the
this?
The amazing thing, of course, is that she actually had the baby herself. Surely a woman with that degree of wealth would pay somebody else to look fat for 9 months. I mean, she's had to hide away, hasn't she, for her entire pregnancy, because, most women, their ankles swell a little. This woman's neck swelled. I mean, she looked horrendous. According to there's been much talk, obviously, about the naming of the baby.
Right.
Lourdes, and the Vatican are not terribly happy about that.
Did the Vatican actually have a response? Did the Pope come out and go, she did what?
I think she should be congratulated on. Madonna should be congratulated on choosing this name, because here's a woman who's spent her entire life, basically, throwing open the door to her boudoir to any sexual pilgrim who happens to be passing. And so she calls her daughter.
You know what? For all the talk of that, I don't know one guy who's done her. For all the talk of, oh, Madonna has everybody, me and my friends are sitting around going, hey.
But the sad fact is...
Where's our turn at the deli counter?
The sad fact is the one guy who has done her, as he so sublimely put it, he's been told that she's not interested in him anymore. So this guy has got to live with the fact that he's given birth to perhaps the most famous baby in the current times, in the past few years.
Our savior.
Well, precisely. Everybody knows that.
That's what happens to every man after his wife has a baby. This is no exception.
I think we've taken a turn for the bitter.
Well, I think most women, after they've had babies, are less interested in their husbands for a while because they're tired, they're worn out.
Well, plus they've had like a 6-pound thing go through the birth canal.
All right, well, let's move on, shall we? Before this really degrades. Joe, this seems to make perfect sense. Here's the next headline. Handguns outlawed. Now, this is in Britain. They've outlawed handguns. Why can't we ban guns in this country? What's our problem?
Guns are part of folklore.
Folklore?
Yeah, I mean, people have always thought, the founding of the West and everything, and all the lunatics in America really believe that if you have a gun, you can defend yourself against the government if the government comes. So I don't think...
But hoop skirts are a part of folklore, and we don't wear those anymore.
You make a good point.
Norm, would you ban guns if you...
No, not in a million years. I got a gun. I own a gun.
All right.
That's a bit worrying, don't you think?
Well, guns,
This
you
guy
got to
has a
have
gun.
guns on account of, what if another character has a gun, you don't have a gun?
Now, that's an interesting point.
Guns really are horrible, and they should be banned in all countries. You shouldn't have one.
Oh, I would love it if I was the only guy to have one, to tell you the truth.
Looks like Norm would be getting a lot of free lunches with that one.
You see, it's called the right to bear arms, isn't it? Isn't that supposed
We
to
have
be
a constitutional right, yes.
constitutional precept of the right to bear arms? But actually, it's the right to kill people. I mean, it's so simple. That's what a gun does.
I think you're just bitter
It
because
kills
our right
people.
that we had got us our country. I mean, let's face facts. If we didn't have guns 220 years ago, you guys would still be taxing the tea. But we had a couple of, you know, we had a couple of rifles. We marched down. You guys wanted to walk in single file. I don't know why you did that, but you did. And
But perhaps if we hadn't taught you how to use the guns in the first place, then you wouldn't have been able.
oh yeah, like Geronimo didn't teach us how to shoot straighter than Lord Cornwallis. All right. Felix, we got some more headlines going here. Have you had one of these in England? Million Man March in England. Are there a million black guys in England to have a march? Or do they have like 100,000?
I think actually there's about 5 of us.
Oh my God.
Things are pretty depleted right now, what with me being over here. The way it was perceived, certainly by the majority of people in Britain, was actually a little bit distorted, because I think there was this notion that it was some kind of anti-Semitic initiative, and that Farrakhan is viewed in that way. Now, I don't know enough about what he's been saying recently.
No, I think he loves Jews. I've seen him.
Well, yeah,
in fact, the other day he had a bagel with a schmear. The guy loves the Jews.
Now, I think it's stupid for minority groups, Jews and blacks, to like not get on, because hey, we all know about persecution.
I stayed indoors that day. You know, I just try to stay out of the way when these seminal events occur that can't do me any good. See, I'm Irish-American, and the great thing about being Irish is that you can claim to be a minority, but you still control the police department. So you don't have to worry about anything.
Let's go. Finally, Norm, this looks like the election has finally got exciting as Bob Dole got dirty. Gloves are off. What took Bob Dole so long to get nasty in the campaign?
It took him a long time to get his gloves off because of his one arm that doesn't work. It was like, oh, can you help me with my glove? Coming off here. Very well.
I feel shame and yet delight.
That man lost that arm at the Battle of Anzio fighting the Nazis, and you make fun of him like that.
No, I love Dole. I'll vote for Dole. He's the best man, you know.
Norm, I hate to say this, and I know this to bring this up, but I don't think Canadians can vote in our elections. We appreciate your support and your enthusiasm.
I'll tell you, I can't vote in the election, but I can pay the huge taxes to Clinton.
Yeah, it's a beautiful country. All right. Do you believe Dole has gotten nasty too late? Have you seen Dole get nasty?
This man is not capable of getting nasty. From the perspective of all the way across the Atlantic, you know, he just appears to be this doddery old guy who falls off the edge of stages occasionally. And that is largely what we're seeing.
You see, Dole has got a bad image problem in Britain, really, because Dole means unemployment benefit in Britain.
Yes.
So it's like, hey, I'm going to really sort the economy out. My name is Mr. Unemployment Benefit. You know? Doesn't compute.
I think Dole didn't go on the attack as much as he could have, because there's scandal after scandal after scandal with this Clinton character, you know. Yeah. And I was reading one this morning. They said Clinton, apparently back when he was governor of Arkansas, you know, back then, he got real drunk one night and apparently had sex with Hillary.
Well, let's see what all this negative stuff is about. They say Dole has gone negative, and in Britain, apparently, a picture of Tony Blair with red eyes caused a major controversy. But in America, viewers have been exposed to $450 million worth of political ads, 90% of which are negative. So are we just mean people? You know, why are we being shown these things? Let's take a look at some.
Dole voted to raise payroll taxes, Social Security taxes, the 90 income tax increase, $900 billion in higher taxes. And look closely at his risky tax scheme. He'd actually raised taxes on 9 million working families. Bob Dole, 35 years in Washington, 35 years of higher taxes.
We send them off to school, and we worry. Teenage drug use has doubled since 1992. And Bill Clinton, he cut the White House drug office 83%. His own Surgeon General even considered legalizing drugs. And in front of our children on MTV, the president himself.
If you had to do over again, would you inhale? Sure, if I could. I tried before.
Bill Clinton, he just doesn't get it. But we do.
They say American people hate negative advertising, but yet it's shown to work. So what's the
I can't believe people think that that's particularly negative.
That's not negative.
When Andrew Jackson was president in the 1830s, they said that he was a bigamist. They said that he murdered a minister. That he went to his deathbed convinced that the critics had killed his wife because of these accusations. We don't have anything like this. Grover Cleveland was accused of having an illegitimate child, which he had. Warren Harding was accused of having a mistress. You know, there were all kinds of accusations, which he had. But there were all kinds of like horrible accusations about guys, and then they've got this kind of stuff, which is where, you know, Bill Clinton once said that he almost inhaled marijuana. I mean, I don't. This whole story.
You think we've actually gotten kinder, that we're not nearly as negative as we used to be?
I just think these commercials just like suck. And that's the issue, is that the commercials just suck.
So would you like to see what, like singing raisins for the government commercials? What do you need?
I'd like to see really nasty. I'd like to see ads where they said, Clinton, you know, this is the motel, this is the desk clerk. He paid $27.95. Here's the receipt. Here are the sheets. You know, that'd be negative. You know.
Do they do negative now? This what was it? Tony Blair. What was it?
Yeah. These were ridiculous. All they did is they sort of cut out. He got a picture of him, cut out his eyes, and then put little somebody else's eyes that coloured red upside down. I mean, you know, it was a joke. What I would like to see is a bit.
But there was
more...
an outcry, am I right? There was an outcry against negative advertising. So will negative advertising never come Britain's way?
Well, we already have negative advertising, but obviously it is more muted. But simply that's because there isn't the money in Britain to engage in the vast amounts of advertising that you have here. But we also happen to have much better advertising for other products. Our ads are far better than yours. I mean,
our products are far better than yours.
No.
You know, like we've got cars.
It's got a point. What would you rather have? A song about a car or a car? You know? I think we've really been able to foster some understanding here. I expect to fire on Yorktown any minute now.
I think
you're witching again.
The thing that's happening that we are sort of catching from America, which is rather worrying, is that we're starting to do these fake documentary type ads for politicians, and they're all very, the violins are playing, and that, I think, is about the worst kind of political advertising, because you basically you want to throw up as soon as you see it.
What would you rather see for your party political broadcast? Would you rather see a guy come on and go, we don't know what we're doing?
I like that ad where they go, hey, check out this guy's eyes. Look at them.
Yeah, but you see, I think, if you're in an environment, which is the case in Britain, where political analysis or acute questioning of politicians takes place a lot by journalists, where, for example, even the Prime Minister can go into a television studio and be really grilled seriously about what he's done. And sometimes to the point where it happened a couple of weeks ago, a politician was so badly grilled by a journalist that he rang up the BBC saying, what the bloody hell is going on? How dare they speak to me in this way? If you've got that kind of rigorous political examination of what's going on, the advertisements become irrelevant.
We don't have intelligent journalists like that. We have people named Cokie. You know, we have, like, the President of the United States comes in and gets interviewed by somebody named Cokie. And Cokie asks really hard questions. Then, you know, no politician in America would submit to intense grilling because we don't have any journalists who do that. We have,
you don't think Sam Donaldson is a relatively intense journalist as far as politicians are concerned?
Not by English standards, no. Those guys are really tough. Everybody over here is a cream puff compared to them.
Right.
They are.
While Americans are pessimistic about politicians improving their lives, they're very optimistic about books, audio tapes, and videos improving their lives. Yes, the self-help movement is alive and well, with many Americans believing, I could do anything if I only knew what it was. We asked Lori Pike to go and talk to some losers who buy this kind of thing.
How do you create an extraordinary quality of life today?
All right, let's see what we got here. Handbook of coping, that'll be useful. Panic no more. Nasty people. How to stop being hurt by them without becoming one of them. I'll try. Don't blame mother. Listen up, girlfriend. Lessons on life from the Queen of Advice. I am right, you are wrong. Definitely take that one. The Anger Workbook. I'll start with lesson 1. With all these books, are we really coping with our problems, though, or are we just thinking up new ones?
Well, I have a collection at home myself, and that seems to be the only kind of reading I do these days. My feeling is so strongly that while you have oxygen in you, that the whole point of being on planet Earth, why we all really burn to get here and to incarnate into these families that are so troublesome, is to work things out.
I bought the book because I feel like there's something in my life that has been holding me back success-wise in my career. I'm an actor, and it's helped me a lot, actually. I just finished shooting a film, and I just booked a commercial just now.
People collectively again are saying, you know what, I am entitled to a healthier, more fulfilling life. I am entitled to love. I want to have a career. I mean, look at this section here on ethical business and right livelihood. I am entitled to love my work. I am entitled to have friends that I adore.
Did you think and grow rich after you read Think and Grow Rich?
Absolutely.
You did?
Absolutely. I created my company 4 years ago, right after I read Think and Grow Rich. So I bought a self-help book to help myself. It works.
Personally, when I see people reading self-help books, I'm always a bit suspicious of them, especially the ones that say get rich quick and how to, like, enter your inner self in 5 minutes.
Earth is an anagram for heart, E-A-R-T-H, and heart being H-E-A-R-T. Everyone on Earth is working on their heart chakra center. What is the #1 killer? Heart disease?
I'd like to see more of self-help.
I'd like to see more security in the bookstores. That's what I'd like to say.
I really think that 30% of the people in any society are jerks. And you just want to try to keep that potential down, that number down. 30% of the people...
30%.
Obviously, Nazi Germany had a higher percentage.
Right.
But 30% of the people in any society are jerks. And as long as it doesn't go above 30%, that's okay. So people reading these books are jerks. So don't worry about it. If it gets up to like 50, 60%...
So these books are not helpful. They're not making us
So
happy.
they don't have any effect on really cool people like us who have our lives totally
So
together.
that means like one of us is probably a jerk.
Although these books are starting to sell in Britain now, the one about women are from Venus, men are from Mars is doing very well.
Which, by the way, is not true.
These self-help books are very, very American, because if you read our advice, most of our agony aunts, they're very sort of like, dump him, he was obviously no good for you, and go and find yourself another man. Whereas if you read these books, it's all like, well, what happened in your childhood, and what kind of personality are you? You know, this is all useless information.
Nobody wants to take responsibility, you know? It's always like, hey, my dad, anally raped me or something, you know? And, I mean, who of us haven't been anally raped by their fathers? I mean, really.
Yeah, you should get over it, shouldn't you?
American self-help books are all about getting rich, and because English people have such lower expectations, like you don't have books like How to Get Rich in a Year. It's like How to Get 5 quid ahead by Thursday. You know, how to win 7 pounds in the lottery.
It's actually
how to save 40 pence on that next sandwich.
You see, actually, in Britain, the notion of self-help is not like, hey, all this stuff about finding your inner self and all that. It's things like, hey, you know, I really want to learn to make really good mayonnaise or something, or
it's pragmatic. You're saying you're pragmatic.
Or grow nice turnips, or great big cucumbers. You know, something that's useful. You see, there's a whole notion that. Well,
do you think it's the context of the society, and that we've had it so easy here in America that we've had a chance to become this self-involved? Whereas, let's say, for instance, Britain, or for instance, Japan, where they had an atomic bomb dropped on their heads. If you have an atomic bomb dropped on your head, it's hard after that to go, well, I'm afraid to love. You know.
I was surprised to see on the film that there were men buying these books, because certainly in Britain you'd never get a guy buying any of those books.
In England, you're encouraged to be emotional about very little, or to express emotions about very little. One of the things you can be emotional about is sport, occasionally, football particularly, or animals. You know, you can get excited or emotionally in touch with that.
Right.
Perhaps I said the wrong thing when I said excited with animals. I didn't mean that. But you can get emotional about them. I mean, like, you could be talking to yourself in the street and, like, going to the toilet in your trousers and, you know, kind of totally insane. And everyone goes, oh, well, yeah, High Court judge, you know, fine, you know. But if you're sort of even mildly thinking about going to therapy, oh, well, you're a nutter. You're a complete nutter. So there's a strange imbalance. It's almost like a prejudice against it.
Because self-help, in essence, you wouldn't need a book, would you?
I'll tell you a good self-help book.
Yeah?
Holy Bible.
Worked for me.
Norm, I know you. I know you've never seen the Bible.
I've seen the Bible, those hotel rooms you can
See, that's an interesting point, though. If you're not in therapy and you're not taking drugs, where are you going to go to ease your pain? Perhaps the church. Unlike in Britain, religion in America, big business and growing. So if you need a few tips, here's how the church is aggressively wooing new customers.
World Reach. It's about preaching the gospel. It's about producing television specials. It's about providing hope through Operation Blessing. But mostly, World Reach is about Jesus.
Father, in the precious holy name of Jesus, we pray right now that your power will come into the lives of people who are watching this program.
All it takes is just 65 cents a day, $20 a month, because Jesus is the answer.
Touch their bodies, heal them in Jesus' name. Restore that skin to normal.
In the name of Jesus, receive an answer to your prayer. Terry, do you have something?
You've suffered for a long time from a ringing in your ears that's very annoying, and God is releasing that for you right now.
Seeing what appeared to be a golden opportunity to share the gospel with a fairly captive audience, Pastor Perry Harrison started using the church's loudspeaker to expose the students to Christian music.
The Lord right now is setting you free from that terrible pressure in your head.
In America, we're spoiled. And we have everything in abundance. But here, they don't have anything. And the most we can give them is hope in Jesus.
Now, if you prayed with me, it's the most important prayer you ever prayed. I want you to do something about it. I want you to call us, tell us you prayed. For those who contribute, we have something called Jesus is the Answer. We also believe in the Great Pumpkin and the Tooth Fairy.
Well. Norm.
Yeah.
In the United States, religion, big boom in business now. Are we just a pure and moral people? Is that the situation here in America?
I don't know. You know, like you always hear people saying they're Christians,
yeah,
and then they don't read the Bible. It's insane.
Well, they say 90% of people have a Bible.
Have a Bible, but you figure you read it. You know, like I mean, they get the Bible, and it's supposed to be the Word of God. And they go, yeah, I'm going to get to that. I'm reading this Grisham thing first, and then I'll get to the God thing after, you know. God, he wrote a book, too.
Is religion in decline in Britain? Is it, because here it's obviously booming.
I can't tell you how stunned I am by the fact that you even have that on your TV.
What do you mean? Jesus is a competitive business in this country. You got to have a band and a good choir or people don't show. It's not enough to, you know, cure pleurisy. You got to have good music in there.
Is it just... Go on.
Go on. You see, this is English. You see, no, go ahead.
It's so polite, I'm moving on.
I'll tell you what I think about religion in this country.
Please, Joe. Settle it.
This is the only thing that embarrasses me about America. I think America is just so great. So when like French people say, but you have guns and you kill people, figure, well, who cares? So what? We didn't collaborate with the Nazis. And, you know, so you've got all these things that you know, people would criticize America for, you know, violent movies, things like that. And I think that they're just fine. But the religion thing really is embarrassing because, you know, you see this guy, this Huckleberry here, this Pat Robertson, and the guy ran for president. I mean, he's an idiot. He's a buffoon. He's a village idiot. And he's on television every night. He's got his own cable channel. So, you know, it is embarrassing. But the most interesting thing about religion in America is that nobody who goes around America really thinks Americans are religious people. You know, like spiritual people.
Wasn't there a guy called Jerry Falwell or something here who
There's
was
still a guy called Jerry Falwell.
Yeah, who was going on about he saw 70-foot Jesuses or something? Is that what he said?
Good drugs in Virginia.
I mean, and people were saying, oh, yeah, you know, you saw a 70-foot Jesus. Yeah, I'll buy some.
But in all fairness, you got to figure Jesus is a pretty tall guy.
But what sort of car would he drive? Do you think he would have a limo?
That's a good point.
But in other
70
countries,
feet's not that big.
In other countries, once a virgin or a saint appears, then they set up a temple, they set up some kind of grotto, you have big lines, you have people lined up waiting to get in. I was in Lourdes a couple years ago, and there were 16 guys in Cleveland Indians shirts waiting to be cured. I figure you guys are going to wait a long time, because the Virgin's, you know, she's backed up. She's still got, you know, she's got the San Diego Padres guys to take care of first. But in America, that would never happen. Someone would say, the Blessed Virgin Mary appeared in a you know, she appeared at an internet site, maybe, and people might believe that. But if somebody said she appeared here in a forest, you wouldn't get a pilgrimage there. You wouldn't get people believing it. And the reason is people don't really believe in God.
If you go to Britain, you certainly wouldn't get politicians saying, and God bless Britain. Because the population would just laugh. And yet you have God bless America. And they say it with feeling. And you're all supposed to say it with feeling.
We actually wrote a song about it.
To be working.
Getting back to the point. How is the Church of England going to stop the decline of people who have stopped going to church and stopped believing?
What the Church of England, I think, is going to have to do maybe is to put television screens up for the football results and the lottery, and maybe pinball machines and
maybe more entertaining
and
for
a bar
people
in the corner or something. Yeah, I mean, you see, because the Church of England has got this strange position. I mean, it's very integrated with the class system. And it's one of those institutions that historically has been very highly respected. But in recent years, all of those institutions have been diminished in terms of the way people look at them. The judiciary, the monarchy, and the Church of England itself. So the Church of England is really on a downward slope, and I don't know how it's going to be corrected. Basically, because all of these institutions, they've been...
Would it matter? Would it matter to the quality of life over there if it went away?
They've lost the mythology.
Let's say it went away. The only way that I think that it would increase in popularity is to take a leaf out of the book of all those sort of wacko, alternative, crystal, new age rubbish.
You know, for a long time in the church, in most Christian churches, Catholic, Protestant, whatever, the principal influence was, of course, Jesus Christ, because he was crucified. If you go into a church today in America, the principal influence is the Carpenters. I mean, Karen Carpenter. Right. That all you hear is every single person who lost their job playing the piano at the bar at the Marriott last week now does the religious service in your church. And there's this real strong musical element in all of these churches. I mean, you go in there and they're playing like the average white band type songs, but with these like religious lyrics. Right. And there's this whole early 70s feel to religious churches, which is why I feel that churches must be eliminated immediately.
And I mean,
overnight. You just got to get rid of the music. The first thing you do is you got to get rid of the music, and you got to do things like when they have these blessings of animals. So like bring traditional biblical animals like donkeys and dogs and stuff. People bring like Gila monsters.
Right.
People bring Gila monsters and iguanas and ferrets. You can't. God wouldn't bless those things. You know, it's sacrilege or simony or something.
I just have to say this: for Jews, it's just funny to watch the whole thing unfold, because we just think we've been cold kicking it for 4,000 years, and we don't give a shit what you guys do.
I went to a bar mitzvah a couple of weeks ago.
You know, you don't have to say that like that. I went to a freak show at Coney Island once. You don't have to say it like that. You don't have to. I went to a bar mitzvah. You people are insane. Once again, that's all for tonight. Thanks to Lowry Turner, Felix Dexter, Joe Queenan, and Norm MacDonald. Please bow your heads, and God bless America.
And there'll be more burning issues from both sides of the Atlantic in 2 weeks' time.
I think I heard Matthew Perry once in an interview. I think he basically said he invented sarcasm. I think he said that. Norm was on Saturday Night Live. Norm tells the best fucking stories about some of those celebrities that went through there. And Matthew Perry had an assistant and said, you know, he said to Norm, Matt wants to do a sketch that he wants you to be in where he talks like he does on Friends. He calls it Matt Speak. And Norm said, what are you talking about? He goes, well, you know, he invented a way of talking, the way he talks on Friends, Matt Speak. And he showed him a clip, and Norm said, are you talking about sarcasm? Matthew Perry called sarcasm. He renamed it Matt Speak.
Hilarious.
And Norm goes, you're talking about sarcasm?
What about the black odd couple, Gil?
They should have just said to him, oh, that was really good.
I think like somebody, one of the younger writers said, I think Matthew Perry is a genius. And I think that's what it was. And Norm said, is he good at math or something? Harvey Weinstein was holding court. He was talking about he had seen that scene of alternative comedy, and he'd seen somebody that everybody was kind of at that moment was the king of that. That's all. And Harvey Weinstein, I've been in, but seen him at work. He's a very obnoxious. He just yells shit out that he thinks is brilliant, like Stephen Wright jokes or something. Right. You can't have everything. Where would you put it? Stuff like that. So. He says this guy's name, and Norm's sitting there. He's on with Lorne and everybody, and and Harvey Weinstein says this person's name and goes, I think Sons is a genius. And then he looks at Norm and goes, Norm, what do you think? And Norm goes, is he good at math or something? And I thought, okay.
All right, Artie, first things first. You and Chris Farley on the Dirty Work set.
Oh, wow. Dirty Work was his last movie, Farley.
Right.
And in between shooting Dirty Work and dying, he did Saturday Night Live. He hosted it. So Norm said he's out of control. You got to come to the after party to help me watch him. That's how out of control he was. I was asked to watch
Norm MacDonald and Artie Lang are babysitting.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So Norm leaves for a couple of minutes, and I see Chris disappear into a bathroom with Andy Dick. True story. 5 minutes he's in there. He comes out giggling. Norm comes back and goes, what's going on? I go, bad news, man. He went into a bathroom with Andy Dick for 5 minutes, and, there's only two reasons a guy goes into a bathroom with Andy Dick. And neither one is good. And without missing a beat, Norm said, holy fuck, I hope he's high. So, good news, he was high.
Speaking of Norm.
Oh, there he is.
You and Norm.
Yeah, well, there's a few guys I could point to who helped, who took a chance on me when I was either going to go to the joint or rehab, and it was Norm, Howard, and Quincy Jones who did Mad TV. We did a buddy comedy together. We met at the audition. I got terrible reviews when it came out. My hometown paper said Artie Lang has all the charm of a date rapist. True story. That's what the guy said in the review. So Norm said to me, hey, man, that's fucking great. A date rapist has to have way more charm than a regular rapist. He does things that are so ballsy. It takes a lot of risks, and it makes them fun, but also makes them very dangerous.
One more for you, Artie.
There you go.
There's no one better to talk to about show business than Norm because he's brutally honest about it. I'll try to tell the story quick.
Go ahead.
When Norm had his last sitcom on Fox, right, he invited me to go to the upfronts with him. That big thing where they introduce the shows to the advertisers? Yeah. So the head of Fox, this guy, Sandy Grushow, right out of Beverly Hills High, permanent tan, permanent fake smile on his face.
Right.
The head of Fox goes up to Norm, and it's Norm and Jason Bateman, whose show had premiered, and all these Fox people. Goes up to Norm and says, right in front of me and a bunch of people, goes, Norm, I want to let you know that your show is the highest tested show we've had in Fox history. And Norm goes, wow, man, thanks. That's unbelievable. Wow. And then Grushow leaves and goes to talk to Jason Bateman. So this other executive at Fox, this woman, Tracy, comes over and goes, where's Sandy? He was just here. And Norm goes, he's over there telling Bateman that his show is the highest tested show in the history of Fox.
See? So that's what I'm telling you.
Norm gets it. There's another great, quick Norm story. Great, quick Norm story.
Kid, Artie.
Well, Jim will appreciate that. They do a big Rolling Stone article about the Kansas City.
That was a great one, man.
Wait, what is this? They do a big Rolling Stone article about the cast.
I got about a good one.
What? So the cast of Saturday Night Live.
Right, yeah.
And it's everybody kissing each other's ass. So they ask Norm about Chris Kattan. And it's after pages of, I've never seen someone do better character work. Norm's quote is, he seems gay to me. He goes, I've never met a guy who said he wasn't gay who seems so gay. But I guess he says he's not gay, so whatever.
Hey.
Feelings going up and down, picking up the pieces that you left behind, hitting a new type of flow, breathing in the smoke and clearing up my mind. The thoughts of you, I never knew what the hell you got me into. What do you mean?
Oh, I love that. You want to hear? Go ahead. Go ahead. You go. We're on SNL one time, right? This is what Norm just didn't care about anyone. This a quick story. Pamela Anderson is on it. Every time a hot chick would come on, Kattan would go over the top and like, oh my God, he'd write a sketch. We're gonna make out. Right. She's hot. She's with Tommy Lee Hammer. Back off. Yeah, right. Come on. So he writes a sketch, and they do this sketch where it's the Twilight Zone when everyone's in pig face or something.
Right.
So that's the goof. So me, Catan, we're all in it, and Norm is the guy who's got to go, imagine if you will. And Norm doesn't read sketches, and he's a pro.
Right.
So he would rehearse it and go, hey, imagine if you will, second time, and Catan would go, my God, you don't even sound like him. Why would you do that? And I would stand and go, Norm, you gonna hit him back? Like, you gonna say something to him? You just gonna take that from this guy? Now we go to a dress show, which has audience, and it's being filmed.
Right.
And again, he starts punking into Norm on the set.
Right.
He's going, oh my God, Norm, you gonna do it right? It's my only sketch.
Right, you don't sound like Rod Serling.
He's like, hey, imagine, 10, 9, and we're on. Hey, imagine if you will. And he knew the deal.
Right.
Now we go to air. And Norm still hasn't said nothing. Every time Catan would say something to him, I'd look at Norm like, hey, man, you're my hero. What's up? Because if you're not going to say something, I will.
Right.
And sure enough, he'd give me like a wink. I swear to you, he'd give me a wink. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Live air comes on. And I'm like, 20 seconds to the Twilight Zone sketch. He starts up again. We're mic'd, the whole audience is listening. He's like, oh, God, Catan. Norm, you better sound like... Oh, God, Pamela, you're so hot. Norm, Pamela, I can't wait if you ever get rid of... 10 seconds! Norm turns to Catan. Right before his head, he goes, hey, Pamela, did Chris tell you he's gay yet? And he's got all this rage because he likes being gay. Everyone, why don't you just say you're gay and you wouldn't have all this anger and be a pester? 5 seconds! And you wouldn't have all this rage and try to interrupt everyone's sketch because you suck this week. And we're on! Imagine if you will. I'm like, there's my hero. There's my hero.
See, he knew to save it for the live air.
Saved it. He saved
nice.
it.
And Catan sank.
I couldn't even get my words out.
I knew that was coming. Who's SNL right away? Yes. It's me. I was fired from SNL. Actually, not for the reason you heard. It's because I'm terrible at improv, and this is gonna be bad. They didn't care.
This press release, you get your ass fired. Is that true? No, you didn't get fired.
Yeah, they fired me.
No, they didn't fire you.
No, I'm serious. I talked to a guy that said I'm fired.
Then it occurred to me, I haven't gotten funnier. The show has gotten really bad. So yeah, I'm funny compared to, well, you'll see later. But... Okay, so let's recap. The bad news is, I'm still not funny. The good news is, the show blows.
Hey, I don't have much, because this is gay.
Do you like the new country or you like the old country?
No, the new is gay.
Down syndrome? All right. I'll do that. That was not my suggestion. But I will say this. I like it. I'm pro it. I have family members that have it. It's fun. That is weird because everybody's always like, oh, it's the best thing you could be. They're happy. They have the best life.
I love. My best friend had Down syndrome, I love people with Down syndrome. I wish I had Down syndrome. And I'll tell you why, because they're happy. You know what I mean? They're happy. What's wrong with that? Man, I wish I was happy,
Dude, autistic kids, they're like cats. A little skittish. You're not sure if they like you at all. Down syndrome are dogs. They're the dogs, dude. You get home from somewhere, they're like, where the fuck have you been, dude? I got so much to show you. This is gonna be the best day. Ask a Down syndrome kid, do you want to go for a walk? Like, yeah. Like, throw a ball. Throw a ball.
Happiness, the thing we strive the most. People pity these people that have it,
But they'll look over a group of people with Down syndrome and go, "Oh, man, look. Breaks my heart when I see them." You know the saddest part of all? There's no cure. They'll probably die happy.
Belly button rings. I feel like those go hand in hand.
Do girls still? Yeah, they do. Do girls? Are you guys still getting belly button rings? I don't know. I haven't fucked a whore lately. I'd like to thank Ari and his people for this beautiful weather. Thank you. Ari is edgy and shocking, which is a really cool thing for a 50-year-old guy to be. Isn't it cool? Ari's yoga videos suck and are gay. Kim hasn't made it yet, but she's knocking on the door. Yeah, she's knocking on the door and saying, "Housekeeping?" Kim is getting fat. Natalie Cuomo is so unfunny, Lewis booked Kim. Tony looks like Matthew McConaughey's skeleton. I don't have a joke for this, but something about Tony being young Sheldon. You say bazinga every time he makes one of his gay jokes. Tony also, I believe, had a Corvette with a license plate that said "I roast." I can't believe people are calling this guy gay, dude. That's cool. That's so cool. I roast. Tony's father was a mafioso, and his mother was the horsehead he woke up next to. Tony is clearly gay and malnourished. Jay. Hey, Jay, you dress like a metalhead. You look like a member of Van Halen. Yeah, the van. Joe List is here, AKA 20% of Tuesdays with Stories. What do Joe's wife's calendar and her vagina have in common? Both only have spots on them because of Joe. He has herpes. This isn't... All right, sorry, Joe. These aren't good. Bobby used to be a hot jock. Now he looks more like a fish that lives at the bottom of the sea. As Bobby gets fatter, he gets less successful. Take note, Kim.
Connected to our senses. Found a way to let you share.
To catch a predator, I used to kind of cheer a little for the Predators. And I'll tell you why, I didn't want them to get laid.
I mean, if it's a football game, they are the away team.
They're going into hostile territory. But they also, like, that show, if you watch that show, it's not, look, I think pedophiles are bad. Let me lead with that.
He's running for office next year, by the way. Let me just say,
I'm gonna go ahead and
pedophiles
say
are bad.
this, but if you watch that show again now, they're just trapping, like, very, like, mentally handicapped guys and Indians. That's all they're getting. They're getting me and Akash. Every day, me and Akash show up. And that's all they got. They tricked them. And then the Indian, the best are like dudes directly from India, where they were just like, they're like, sit down, do you know this girl's 15? And they're like, yes. And they're like, you understand you're going to do it? It's like, why? Why am I in trouble? This is going to be the best day. Because that's their culture, and I respect other cultures.
Hey there, Larry, it's time for Weather in a Minute. It's a silly little segment we do maybe once every 5 years or so, but we brought it back. We're doing it today. And, Larry, the older we get, the less tolerant I become and the slower you become. I'm thinking I am dying for like an ice cream sandwich or something from the cafeteria. Right. Give you the helmet. If you can get down there and get it, we've found a way to get you down that hallway a little bit quicker also. This will replace the running that you've had to do. These are a great way to get around. You can get the speed up on that thing, Larry. Right. It's like you're going like 2 miles an hour.
There's no brakes.
That's all right. You don't need brakes. You're just going down the hall. It's not like you're into traffic. Floor it. So there you go. If you can, like an ice cream stand, I think there's a guy from like the Hancock. It's a hard left turn. No, you missed a turn. There you are. Is that like the mascot from the Hancock is in there? Give him a hug or. There you are. Nice to see him. Why? It's nice of him to even offer. All right. Did you get it? All right.
Hey, Norm, come on, you're up next.
You got Norm
Norm MacDonald's down here.
Get him on. Put him on one of those.
Come on, Norm, you're up next.
This is like the two of you in like 3 years. Senior citizens racing down the hall. Very nice. Don't forget to bring me the ice cream sandwich. Boy.
Whoa.
Wait.
I know I went too far.
That's all right. I'm just taking ice cream. Thank you very much.
Come on, Norm.
Norm, nice to see you. Let me get that out of your way. Come on. Yeah, follow him.
Did I lose, Norm?
See you later.
I lost you, sorry. Watch the cables, man. Oh, no. Wow.
Oh,
Norm MacDonald.
Good to see you again.
Norm.
Good to see you.
Welcome. I'm sorry, Norm, I lost you.
Yeah.
The brakes are a little thin on that.
No, that worked out well.
We can get that fixed back there, too. No trouble.
Wait a minute. Are you the new Batman?
Oh, am I wearing my Batman hat?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Is that what you've been up to?
Well, no, not in real life, I'm not. In real life, it's Bruce Wayne. Are you talking about the movie?
Yeah.
The new movie?
What are you up to lately? I saw you in Jack and Jill. Your great
you did?
cameo in there. Yeah.
You know what I'd like to see is like a superhero come along that isn't conflicted.
Right. Nice.
Like when I was a
Perfectly
kid,
adjusted, right?
It was just Superman. He was all happy, like he was this, Christopher Reeves, and he was like, and then they became like, oh, I'm Batman, like. Who's worse, me or the Joker? And you're like, the Joker.
Yeah, it doesn't make
any
sense.
Really? I'm almost as bad as the Joker. And you're like, no, of course the Joker's way worse.
Just be the superhero.
Yeah. That, man.
Been watching these Regis highlights, and
yeah, Regis is gone. Right?
Well, today's the last day, 9 o'clock.
Is it?
On WGN on our station? You'll see the final one.
Who
But they were showing. They haven't announced anything that's happening, but they were showing highlights of you as some of the highlights of Regis through the years.
Really?
Yeah. What do you remember? What are some of your Regis memories?
Well, one time I was on his other show, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And it was Celebrity Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, so the questions are a little easier.
Yeah, you won.
I heard they didn't give you the money.
Yeah.
No, they give it to a charity. They don't tell you.
Oh, that sucks.
No, they give it to sick children.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that's nice. They need money too.
Are you drunk? Because all you did was ride a cooler and you're sweating.
I am. Well, it's hot it's hotter than a $2
Well, he's
pistol
got like
in here.
12 layers on.
Yeah,
I think.
thought it was going to be really cold.
Well, you're from Canada. This should be springtime for you.
No, I know I'm from Canada, but I'm still a human being. Like it's not like you evolved differently. Yeah, no, I'm from the frozen north.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets colder than It gets colder than a...
Oh, here it comes.
Get your finger on the panic button.
No, it gets colder than a vampire's demeanor.
Okay, that's better.
Wow. Surprisingly cerebral.
What are you guys up to, man?
Living the great life, living the dream every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Did you enjoy that bit we did with driving around?
It was really hysterical.
Yeah, I got a late. They put me in late. I don't think I'd have to take.
Where did you go? Did you take a spin around the station? I couldn't find you.
You drove way too far down the hall.
I got a heavy foot.
There's a real stream of consciousness thing happening here, Norm.
Yeah, it's called conversation. But there's no break on mine.
There wasn't on mine either.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know.
That's what makes it fun.
That's what makes
it's not
the
fun
suspense,
until somebody gets
you know?
hurt.
Exactly, yeah.
Norm's going to be at Zanies at Pheasant
that's
Run
right.
this weekend in St. Charles. Is this what you do with the crowd? Just stream of consciousness talk?
Why do you keep saying stream of consciousness?
I just,
That's just speak.
That's tough to be that good and clean.
Yeah, it's
That's
impossible.
so impressive.
I'm impressed with clean comics.
Me too. Way more impressed than anyone that's superior as a dirty. It seems like a crush a lot of times.
I like dirty ones too. I like
It's a real meeting of the mind.
Are you still Canadian, or did you
Yes.
renounce that after 9/11?
What?
9/11. You remember what happened?
You remember 9/11?
Yeah,
Which
it
one?
rings a bell. Yeah, which one?
The one in 1911?
No, the one that where the
plane.
Where they took down the towers?
Yeah, all the stories came crashing down. You know, a lot like when we tried to write on the Norm Show. We couldn't. We try to write stories and it all come crashing down.
You know, I'm old enough to remember back to simpler, more innocent times when the worst thing you'd hear about the news was hijacked jetliners flying into buildings.
Oh, now, Gilbert, you're going to get into trouble again. It takes forever, not forever, but it takes years of training to get a pilot's license. But it only takes a couple of minutes to steal a pilot's jacket and hat. And then do some, terrorist act, I guess.
Yeah, I guess I was not living because I was thinking it was going to be a terrorist.
You were worried about a terrorist act.
I was a little nervous.
Did you see Olympus Has Fallen?
No.
This week I learned, just because I masturbated to that picture of a guy falling to his death on 9/11 doesn't mean I have to share it.
Hey, for the 9th consecutive year, Nick, JetBlue Airlines ranked first for satisfaction among all North American airlines. But you know what ranked least in satisfaction? 9/11 Airlines. What a terrible name for an airline. It reminds me of that tragedy.
Oh, 9/11.
Yeah, don't laugh at 9/11
What?
again. 9/11. I tried to tell him not to laugh.
Adam.
I know. I walked through blood and bones in the streets of Manhattan trying to find my brother.
Jesus.
Yeah, he was in northern Canada. And you were the guy that was laughing and joking about it, like only 4 weeks ago when I told you my story about walking ankle deep in blood and bone to try to find.
Well, that's different. That was kind of funny.
I was
Yeah, that does sound funny.
Yeah, right? I was in New York.
Blood
at
and
the time.
bone everywhere.
You.
This is fine. This is fine for a fella that during 9/11, was in Costa Rica partying with his friends. I was walking through the blood and the bones
So you were put off by that,
in Manhattan. A little bit.
I can't believe you're right.
And I had to get new pants because of the blood and the bones.
Just now or back then?
Back then, I was ankle deep in blood and bones.
You went through the war, Norm.
Well, it was an attack on our country. Do you want to hear my impression of the
That's going to be you if you don't lose weight.
You want to hear my impression of the 9/11 call from Johnny
The
Carson?
911 call.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But 9/11 was a national tragedy.
Yes, it was.
Why do you laugh at that?
You said it.
Johnny Carson died at 80 years old.
Okay, Johnny Carson died at 80 years old. Would you like to hear my impression?
We've been down this road together. We've been seeing the colors fade.
Were you in New York when the Twin Towers fell?
No, I was in Los Angeles.
Well, either way, it was a national tragedy. It was.
I know.
9/11. We're going to go to hell.
And the last time I saw him was at the Comedy Store. And he was uncharacteristically emotional.
Yeah.
Like when we parted company, he was. And there's a picture of me and him and like the back of Chris Rock said, I put it in my special. That picture that's in the end of the closer was the last time that I saw him.
The last time I saw him with any regularity was we all went on a tour to do just stand-up, like...
The three of you guys.
It was
I had a
you,
couple
Rob.
other guys.
Funny because we had a text chain of a bunch of us, and
Oh, yeah,
we would
we had
all
a
fuck
text
around.
chain. Yeah.
And then one time he was arguing with Schneider about something, and about stand-up, and he goes, I'm the best comic out of all of us. And everyone went, yeah.
I saw him at the SNL 40th, and I didn't know he had cancer or anything, but I remember as soon as he saw me, he was like, I love you, Molly. Just he blurted out right away.
Yeah.
And I think I was like, oh, I just had a sense of like, I could feel that he had this kind of urgency to say exactly what was on his mind in the moment.
Right.
Because maybe he'll never have that moment again.
Sometimes he'd be late in the morning because we're all taking off, and I would just go, hey, no, man, we got to get to this place, and he'd give me a look, and then after he passed away, then I realized he was giving me a look like, what the fuck do you want from me? I'm going through some shit, man. But he'd be like, yeah, all right, you know.
On the bus or backstage, he would come in and do bits. He wanted to keep, I like that, you know, when people are still funny and he's a good laugher. And that's always nice when a comic is a good laugher too, instead of just only going one way with it. They like to crack up with people. And that was a fucking blast. Did you wear a cowboy hat the whole time?
He bought a cowboy hat, and all of a sudden, cowboy hat walking around.
Weird, yeah.
He could do that.
He did get emotional a lot, though. Like on the whole tour, he would just all of a sudden get really teary-eyed and stuff, and he'd be like, "This is wonderful!" Like this, the tour itself, and like hanging out, and we'd have dinners and breakfasts and shit. And he was more. He'd just be so much fun to see. He had so much energy to hang.
Do you remember the last time that you had seen him?
I hadn't seen him for a while, but the last time I saw him was at a bar by our place, and he would watch. He was a big gambler, but the last time I talked to him, when I was quarantined in Minnesota, he would I'd text him and I go, "Hey, what's up, dude?" And he goes, "What? Who's this?" And he would do this all the time. I go, "It's fucking Nick, dude." And he goes, Nicky, what are you doing? And I'm like, nothing, I'm quarantined. And he goes, you didn't stand up? And I'm like, no, the fuck? I wasn't doing stand up. And he goes, what's your plan? And I go, I don't know, I'm going to kick it here, and then I think I'm going to go to Key West. And I go, I might just retire, though, and just move to Reno and just get like a residency, and then I'll just live in Reno and just work there, just be like an old comic.
Yeah.
And he goes, sort of God, he goes, that's a good idea. And I go, yeah, I don't know, whatever. He goes, no, maybe I'll join you. We'll both headline Reno. And I go, dude, Reno's fucking a mess. I go, no, I don't want to do that. So I go to Key West. A month later, he calls me. He goes, hey, what are you doing? And I go, I don't know, I'm in Key West. What's up with you? And he goes, when are you going to Reno? And I go, dude, that was a joke. I'm not moving to fucking Reno and retiring as like a comic. And he goes, fuck, I thought it was a good idea. And I'm like, no. And so that's the last time I talked to him. And then his closest friend, Lori Joe, I hit her up after Norman passed, and I was like, hey, are you doing okay? And she goes, one of the last things before Norm died, one of the last things he talked about was moving to Reno with you.
No.
Yeah, and I go, are you serious? She goes, yeah, he was like, he really wanted to do that. And I was like, oh, and then that made me cry again. And yeah, it was just, that was Norm. It was awful.
Damn.
I'll tell you, I have so many Norm stories, but this is one of my favorites. And I was on tour, me, Sandler, Spade, Rob Schneider.
It has heavy duty grilling grates. Why are you laughing? You think the grilling grates are flimsy?
No.
No, they're heavy duty grilling grates. They deliver exactly what you need to achieve when you need to achieve that perfect steakhouse flavor. Why are you laughing? You're making a mockery out of the man grate. So anyways, he was a child rapist and cannibal, as I explained.
When he's a child
Jesus
rapist, you try not to
Christ.
laugh when he looks at you.
Oh,
There's
come
something
on, man. It's not funny.
I know it's not, but I know you want people to laugh.
He only chose victims who were either mentally handicapped. Now, don't laugh at this next part, please.
But you know he wants you to, right?
No. If you laugh at this next part.
Okay. And I'm not going to
Fish
drink
chose
water.
victims who were either mentally handicapped or African American. Oh, come on. Why would you think that's funny? God damn, Fred. Jesus Christ, that was the worst part of the story. But anyways, but you were exactly right. That's why Albert Fish killed only mentally handicapped and African Americans.
What about, okay.
I thought you'd laugh at African Americans again, that they were.
No, because I know him. I know he'll do something. That's outrageous. How
Well, it's
dare
kind of
you.
outrageous for you, but anyways.
Some of the 200 Nigerian schoolgirls kidnapped by extremists in Nigeria have been forced to marry their kidnappers. And worse than that, they've been forced to laugh at their husbands' stories even after hearing them for the umpteenth time.
You know something.
Yeah, I know.
It's
but
very
we don't have
hard to make a joke about those girls who are kidnapped. When I hear about those things, that is one of the worst. You know,
And yet you got a big laugh out of yours.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I got.
Hey, for the 9th consecutive year, Nick, JetBlue Airlines ranked first for satisfaction among all North American airlines. But you know what ranked least in satisfaction? 9/11 Airlines. What a terrible name for an airline. It reminds me of that tragedy. Oh, 9/11. You know? Oh, don't laugh at 9/11 again. 9/11. I tried to tell him not to laugh.
Adam.
I know. I walked through blood and bones in the streets of Manhattan trying to find my brother.
Jesus.
Yeah, he was in northern Canada. You want me to hear my impression of the 9/11 call from Johnny Carson?
911 call.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But 9/11 was a national tragedy.
Yes, it was.
Why do you laugh at that?
You said me.
Johnny Carson died at 80 years old.
Okay, Johnny Carson died at 80 years old. Would you like to hear my impression? Were you in New York when the Twin Towers fell?
No, I was in Los Angeles.
Well, either way, it was a national tragedy. It was. Yeah, I know. 9/11. We're going to go to hell. Johnny
911
Carson.
call.
Johnny Carson's 911 call. Because he called while he was having a heart attack.
No.
Would you like to hear my impression? Okay, you be the 911 operator.
Hello, operator Mary.
Yes.
What is your 911 emergency?
I feel like there's a yak on my chest.
Hi-oh.
Mike was a grand guy. I said, he had dementia at the end. That's funny to you. You know, McDonald, I want to tell you.
No, it's a very odd thing to say.
If you're looking to broaden your horizons, I don't think it's wise to laugh
No, because
at
you
someone
just
who
said-
had dementia.
I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing that you said.
I need your love. You free my mind. I need your love. Yeah, you free my mind. And still in line.
He was
You
the best.
just said
I loved him.
Mike
It was
Wallace was a
sad.
great guy. He had
He was-
dementia at the end.
It was sad that he had.
You didn't
Why
say
is
it
that
was sad.
funny?
You said it as if that's what made him a great guy, was his raging dementia.
You're not hearing things well.
So how
You're not
did you-
hearing things
so
well.
how did
I
you-
made a face like it was sad. Not that he was great because of dementia.
The great gift could have been to be in a room full of people when Norm did that for those people.
Right.
Because that would have evaluated, measured, and directed what he's talking about. And for us to sit here and look at it is not a true test of anything, really, other than we all love Norm. And my God, he's certainly prolific, certainly energetic, but we weren't watching stand-up comedy because it was impossible. But there's something there, for sure. The element that I always admired was the connection to the audience. And his asides and his looks and his pauses were interpreted exactly the way he knew they would be interpreted. And that fueled the ridiculous nature of some of the presentation. And without that audience, you don't get the full measure of
That's right,
Norm.
yeah.
It was like the audience was his partner. Everybody was in this together.
His timing is like a drummer's. It's like a jazz drummer.
But what would the timing have been with an audience? Still perfect?
I can't tell. You know, he's so nice with it. I feel like it looked like it was supposed to be that. I can't. It's hard to explain.
This is like listening to a good book on tape. How would those have registered in front of a live audience, do you think?
Not one of the suckers' mother's tits would kill.
Oh, well, that would have murdered. He had a
went
bunch
all
of
the way
things that
around
would
the
have
barn
murdered.
for that.
Because, yeah, he went all the way. It's right. That's the right. He went all the way around the barn. He had this great way of making you. He'd plant the seed, walk all over the hill, around the silo, down to the brook. You've forgotten about it, and then he lands that again, and it's joyous. It's just joyous.
Do we know if he did any of this material in front of an audience?
We knew some from that tour. That tour was right before Corona, I think it was about.
If he were alive and we're doing this show that we watched tonight somewhere in front of 200, 300, 400 people, killer, standing O, what would be their impact?
He didn't have to leave on a big laugh. So he would go on. Some of his shit would murder.
Yeah.
Some of his shit would eat it. Some people would be like get annoyed, upset that he said it. And then, like most of us, you go, all right, let me get out of this fucking hole and come up with a big joke because I'm about to get off. He'd go, all right, let's keep going down and we'll get out on that.
And it's fun to watch him acknowledge what would be the silence.
Yeah, I can see.
And enjoy it.
Yeah, and I could see in his mind there was a crowd there. He was anticipating this crowd, and which reminds me again, this guy was very deliberate in how he approached this, because it does seem like jazz, but it's very methodical.
I'm used to say goodbye, nothing new to me. Baby, I'm trying to survive and know that you believe in a world with happy endings. So tired of pretending.
There's some stuff that's for sure laugh lines that would work anywhere, and then he pulls you away from it for a while, and then and they're trickier stuff. It's trickier to figure it out, and he would lose some people.
It's hard to separate. I buy it. You know what I mean? Like I'm in.
Yeah,
that's right.
And it's like watching a 4-hour movie set at a certain point. It's like I'm just invested in this as an experience.
That's true.
And it's really hard to separate myself from that.